Hello, Philadelphia! I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gorgano Show!
Good morning, everybody. Da, 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 da. It's out. Oh, I love this schedule. I got it right here. Birds. It's one of the fun things because you get to look and listen. It was the least kept secret, right? Like all day. Like the Eagles schedule came out yesterday while we were still on the air. Like it leaked. Forget about it. Leaks everywhere. But now it's official and it's out and it's awesome. It's the schedule. And NFL is just, it's king, right? Like, it's football. So we get to plan the whole thing out. It's the fall. Like, the beauty of kind of where we're at, by the way, this is the Anthony Gargano Show. And we are presented by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Check out TrueMark.com/PHLY. Stop at your local branch to learn more about the credit union difference at TrueMark Financial today. All right, so one of the things you love about the rhythm of sports, because now this is a period of just baseball. And it's great because you have a great team. Phillies 10-5 yesterday. That's 3 in a row against the Mets. This is becoming outrageous to watch. Like, every night they're like must-see TV. It's truly astounding how hot they are. And they just roll. Like, it's really, we haven't seen anything like it since 2011 when they set the franchise record for wins. I mean, yesterday, like, Ranger wasn't even great yesterday. Like, he was okay. He didn't have great stuff, but he battled through it. And when you look at his numbers, I mean, he gives you 5 innings. But when you look at it, he threw 83 pitches, which was a lot for his 5 innings. But he got into his groove at the end, only gives up 2 runs. Like, it's unbelievable. They win again, 31-13, right? 3 straight over the Mets, 16 of 19. Bryce bomb, right? Bryce comes back to the lineup. He goes yard. JT was back. That was good. And like, they put up the 10 with not even a lot of fireworks. Like, they're good. It's amazing when I think about how they're just really, really good. Probably the best team, at least certainly the best start. And you can make the argument on paper, the best team in Phillies history as you're going. I mean, certainly the start of it all. And let's see what happens. Next week it's starting to get into the 80s and, we'll be in summertime mode and the ball will fly. It's just wild. It's wild. Ranger 8-0. He's got an ERA of 1.37. Ty Steve Carlton, 8-0 for the Ranger. The rotation, lights out. Just wild. It's just fun. So to bring up my point, you have Phillies as an awesome companion through this late spring and summer, right? Like, through vacations, down the shore, all that stuff. You have the Phillies as a wonderful companion because you got to check in. We talk about the pledge for 162. Well, you got to be in, right? Everybody's got to be in on it. And then by the time football rolls around, you get the start of the NFL, September, Brazil, the whole thing. leads into baseball playoffs and, of course, a great Eagles season. So it's fun. And then, who knows what the Sixers put together, right? Flyers on the thing. So it's it's a good time. It's a good time for us as we look at our sports. But let's figure out where we're going to be and go through the schedule. And I it's my favorite thing. I love it. I've done it 50 times already. So just to get away, I see 12. All right? I see 12 and 5. Now, we'll go through the W's and L's in the clubhouse and have some fun with it. But all in all, I mean, it's a good schedule, right? It's the home schedule is easy. You get 4 of the last 5 at home to end the year, so that's big. But let's go through have some fun with a dramatic reading. How's that, Andrew? Do the dramatic reading?
I love it. Yeah,
you like the dramatic reading? So we start off. I love the storylines and the locale. We start off at Corinthians Arena in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Now, this is a tough game, right? Friday, September the 6th, Packers. Tough game. Then we come back on a Monday night. Oh, look at this. 10 days later, Falcons and Cousins comes to town on the Monday night, and the fans will be wild. 8:15, ESPN, Monday Night Football, Joe Buck. Hi, I'm Joe. He's Troy. At Lincoln Financial Field. Oh, my. And then we go first pure road game. Remember, the Brazil game, Eagles are slated as the home team. So then you go at New Orleans, one of the great American cities. So this will be big. Tomorrow, Vince from Philly Sports Trips, True Fan Travel, he's going to come on. We're going to talk about trips and go to a little travel action. So it's live from the Caesars Superdome, New Orleans, Louisiana. 1 o'clock game. People love the 1 o'clock game. I hate the 1 o'clock games. People love them. All right? Very winnable. You're not afraid of Derek Carr and the Saints. And then you follow it up at Tampa, Raymond James Stadium, the Pirate Ship. Right? Oh, man, that's a nice one. September 29th. That's another good trip. Now, this is the only bad part of the schedule I don't like is the bye week. So you get an early bye. I was a little disappointed by that early bye. I don't like the early bye. Right? I like the best is the week 7, 8, 9, 10 bye is always the good bye. And then you come off the bye week with a gritty game. And how about Jim Schwartz and the Cleveland Browns defense with Deshaun Stinks Watson comes in to Lincoln Financial Field. Another 1 o'clock game. That's October 13th. And then week 7, MetLife Stadium, East Rutherford. October 20th, the return of Saquon. Oh, my. Saquon and the Birds. Oh, yes. That's going to be great. Saquon Barkley. Oh, man. That'll be a nice win. We'll tell our friend Vito from The Sopranos, who was on with us yesterday, Joe Ganiscoli. He's a big giant, man. Still haunted by Deshaun Jackson and B. West. Then you follow it up at Paycor Stadium, Cincinnati, Ohio, home of the Skyline Chili and Joe Burrow. 4:25 start, CBS. That'll be a Brady. No, Brady's Fox. That'll be 4:25 CBS. That's a robo game at Cincinnati. That's a good game, right? On the as we get ready for, I guess that's Halloween week in Cincinnati. And then, looky, November the 3rd, right before the election. Look at this. Dougie P comes back to Philadelphia. And the Jaguars, Sunshine, Trevor Lawrence, 8:20 Sunday night football. Sunday night football. Lincoln Financial Field. That's a nice game. We welcome back Doug on that game. And then on the 10th of November, as the weather grows cold in Philadelphia, we go south. We go to the heartland of Texas. And there it is, AT&T Stadium, the great strip joint in the middle of Texas. The Cowboys. It's Cowboy Week. I'm already geeked over it. I missed it last year. I had to sit out during Cowboy Week last year. I can't wait. Drum that up. That's a blast. And then we get on a bus, right? And it's a Thursday night Amazon special. And it's cool because Washington, right, with Daniels at quarterback, the young stud out of Louisiana State University. That'll be fun, right? We get home game, Eagles Commanders on the 14th. And then 10 days later, we make the trek on a Sunday night to Inglewood, California. Eagles, Rams. And I always love the Eagles and Rams, where I'll never forget this story. So Eagles, it was the Super Bowl year. It was the game that Wentz got hurt, and they were doing a big deal. Like it was like on the Eagles, it was Fox, and they were going to do a big tailgate. They go live. You know, you love the football tailgates where all the crowds in the background, and you have the stage and all the analysts and the pregame shows. I love that stuff, right? It's all great theater. But they ran into major issues. Even though the game was in Los Angeles, there was no Ram fans. It was all Eagle fans. So they had to put a casting call. A friend of mine is a casting agent in Los Angeles, in Hollywood. And he got the call from Fox that they were looking for actors to dress up like Rams fans. How freaking beautiful is that? Right? Because they go, oh, these Eagle nuts. Forget about it. It's going to be too much Eagles in LA. Perfect. So that's a great game, man. Rams are tough, right? If Stafford is healthy, Puka and Kyron. I mean, they got the Irish from Kyron Williams. That's a great game. And then you follow that up. This is another great interconference game. December 1. Oh, the Ravens. Eagles against Hurts against Lamar. The battle of the quarterbacks. 4:25. That's going to be a great one. CBS. That's an awesome game. And then you get a nice gimme, right? Like this is where, you get a little bit of a gimme, and then we go back to the 1 o'clock start, and it's Eagles-Panthers, and that's a 38-6 piece. Carolina stinks. So they get a little bit of a break. And then a classic matchup, right? Because you're home again, and this is another 4:25 start. It's cold. The lights are up for Christmas. Philadelphia bathed in the red and the green. And there it is from the western part of Pennsylvania. In come the Steelers. Eagles, Steelers, 4:25, December the 15th. That's a game and a half. And then Christmas week, they're at Washington, 1 o'clock start. And look at this, right before we usher in 2025 and the new year with New Year's Eve and just around the corner. We have the Cowboys at home, a 4:25 start. It gets dark at 4:25, and the fans are restless. It's going to be a great day. And then you end the season with the Giants. Of course, I love how the NFL does it, where you get to, we'll figure out where it all stands, and you stagger the starts. I see 12. I look at it, and 12 if all goes well, you could get me to 13. Forget injuries, but if you're just looking at it, the opponents, like if you just look at you figure you split with Dallas, some of the tough games. I think Green Bay is tough in the opener. I think that's a really tough game because it's completely a different atmosphere, environment. You're in Brazil, first time the league's playing in Brazil. A good Packers team. I mean, that's a kind of a who knows type of thing. Yeah, that's a tough game. Like the back-to-back LA Ravens. So you got Rams, Ravens back-to-back. That's a tough spot. Pittsburgh should be better, but I don't think you lose. At New Orleans, at Tampa. I mean, maybe you slip up one of those games, but you should come away with 12. Is kind of how I'm looking at it. We're going to celebrate what the NFL did all day. I mean, it's amazing how we love it. We love this, laid it all out. I got the Thanksgiving games. One of the wrinkles that they did that I loved is the Monday night double headers. We got a couple Monday night double headers. That's a cool thing. Now, I don't like the start times. They're either 8:15 and 9. I don't like I like it when it's broken up. Well, I can watch both games, it's unbelievable. We talked about it last year when the NFL owns Christmas. The NFL owns Christmas. You knew that they were going to plant their flag, even though this year Christmas falls on a Wednesday, right? Like the only day you figure, can they make it work on a Wednesday? Damn right they will. We got NFL football Christmas Day, Wednesday. It's going to be Chiefs and Steelers and Ravens and Texans. 2 great games. And, the people in the NBA office are like, bleep you, NFL. Bleep you, Raj. Good morning, JP.
Buenos dias, cuz.
That was Poppin' Off, brought to you by Olipop. Find your favorite Olipop flavors, the soda that's good for you, at your nearest Wawa. What do you think, buddy?
So happy it's finally out. We start planning. We start doing our W's and L's. The schedule does intrigue me. Obviously with the way last season ended, I'm so curious how we're going to start this season. We talked about how they should handle training camp and just the beginning parts of the season. You hope that they put in that work early on in those practices and training camp because there's some good early tests here.
It's an interesting kind of way, because you're playing in Brazil, like that's going to affect them in a big way.
Yeah, the jet lag, right? The time difference.
There's a lot.
Just being in a different country.
Luckily, the time difference we learned yesterday.
Just an hour prior.
Yeah, so that's not an issue.
That's a long flight, though.
Right. It's the long flight. And the flight is an issue.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do something similar in July, but it's not going to be fun, guys. So
where are you going?
Colombia. I'm getting married.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I do. I know that. Yeah, in Colombia. How far is that flight?
That one, so we actually were just looking at flights yesterday. So it can vary, like between 9 to 16 hours. You typically have to take a connecting flight. Obviously, I'm assuming the birds are going to take a direct flight to Sao Paulo.
Yes.
So it's a little bit different. But definitely that travel, I mean, we it's going to be very difficult for that travel just in general. But I'm curious how the early parts of the season works because I think it's some good tests. I don't know what Atlanta's going to look like. I think New Orleans is going to be another mediocre
I think Atlanta
team.
will be better. I mean, obviously with Cousins, they have good skill people, right?
Yeah.
I think Atlanta is a tester. Now, I think the Eagles will win.
Yeah.
But, fair point when you have that kind of travel and you're going to come back and, they'll have a week to get reacclimated.
Luckily, it's Monday Night Football for sure. But I'm looking at that Week 4 game, cause I mean, like, the way that season ended in the playoffs, you have to have some type of sour taste in your mouth. I really hope going back down into Raymond James, they do take.
Yeah, I think that's a revenge piece.
Yeah, I hope so.
Now the problem is you got that's a little tough because you got at New Orleans
back to back,
and not that they're great. I mean, their defense is decent, but not that they're a great team, and not that Tampa's a great team. So you should get revenge against Tampa, but you are. I mean, you're in Brazil, home on a Monday night, and then at New Orleans, at Tampa and then you got to come back, and then you have the bye. So then
Hate that bye.
Yeah, I don't like the bye
Oh
there
my god,
either.
they really didn't do us any favors. But October's extremely intriguing. Obviously, the Browns game, the Browns defense is still really good. Curious to see what that offense is going to look like. Deshaun coming off of injury as well. But that Giants game, come on, the
But
storyline.
first name, Andrew, Deshaun.
I'm not calling him Watson. It's not my guy. Oh well, damn, just got myself.
Yeah,
Watson.
no, we know you call. Who was it yesterday?
Calling number 4, Aaron. I called
Aaron.
Noah
Aaron. That's
Yeah.
right, Aaron.
Mr. Aaron.
Yeah, he's your first name man.
He is. Yeah.
He's nuts.
I didn't even notice that until you said that. But
All right, so you got
the Giants game, obviously, storylines are going to write itself that
Oh
week.
my God.
Yeah, I put the tweet out on the Gargano show. I did the Arthur meme with the fist. Giants fans are going to they're circling that game a couple hundred times on their little
Yeah, but if
schedule.
I'm them, I don't want to circle that game because that's a game up my
definitely
gigi. Like that's. I mean,
they
think
want
about
revenge. They're seeking blood.
it. What, they stink.
They do stink, but they don't believe that.
Well, yeah, I think heart of hearts they know.
We're gonna have to find out because
And
I
it's
don't think they believe
amazing
that.
the narrative about Barkley.
Yeah,
They didn't offer him. Like, the truth of the matter is that dude did everything he could. He could have made waves last year when they didn't give him a contract.
Because in all honesty, if we're being honest with one another, Giants Nation is one of the softest fan bases that there is in the NFL. Because I remember back in 2020, they were upset
Is
about
that
us.
That's a nation?
Giants fan base, whatever you guys want to call yourselves.
No
But
way.
Is that right? We actually need to go over the fan bases.
it's a pretty big fan base.
Like,
though.
it's a huge fan. No, I'm not saying it like they're not. They're huge. They're a storied franchise and a huge fan base. But I'm talking about the word like nation. Versus the flock. Like, there's a million. There's a million of these terms for for this stuff.
I hear you.
But
I
you
hear you.
tried out Giants like Raider Nation. I know is
Okay.
Like that's a thing.
I only
right?
do it for like the bigger teams.
Giant army.
Yes.
More
that
like
would be
Little Army.
The Giant Army is better than Giant Nation. Giant Nation doesn't go. Giant Army goes. I like the Giant
They're sensitive though.
Army. And then you got. I'm looking forward to the Burrow.
Yeah, what's that gonna look like coming
Bengals
back?
are. Well, listen. If he comes, I love Joe Burrow, but he's if he,
They're still a good team when they're healthy.
yeah.
Still a really good
That's
team.
going to be like that'll be a tough game. Again, it's October. That's
know, it's starting to get
Cincinnati.
cold. Leaves start
It's
changing.
right, exactly. Fall. It's autumnal. 4:25. I love that because it'll get dark early. My
little night
isn't
owl
that
you.
when we changed the clocks around that time?
Around that
around
time,
that time.
yeah.
Why do I love that?
You love the night.
I do. I
winter.
like. Everyone loves spring forward. I get it. I'm the only idiot that likes the fall back.
You're Batman. Gargano, you're Batman.
It's like an ambiance for football. The dark sky. It makes it feel more like but,
I love football in the brisk.
Oh no, I'm totally with you. I love
Wind swept, the leaves
When it's
in a
cold.
circle,
yeah.
the funnel of leaves.
I love those old school NFL films. You see the
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 best.
breath coming
Yeah.
out.
Oh,
with the
yeah.
bass
Yeah.
line.
snot bubbles.
Gets the goosebumps going.
Stop bubble.
Stop.
All right, Dougie P coming back. You like that?
Yeah, of course, man. Dougie P.
Dougie P's like one of these dudes that he comes back. You always welcome him.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, come on, Doug. Come over for dinner.
Guys,
Like,
guy
he's
got us
that-
a Super Bowl.
Right, but he's that kind of dude.
VG doesn't like that one.
What, VJ? You're not inviting Doug over for
Not a-
dinner? No, I don't hate Doug. I don't. I've never hated Doug. I've known Doug 100 years. He's a friend of mine. But did I think he was Lombardi? No. That's all. I mean, we used to argue like Doug walks on water, and I love Doug. I do. But I mean, I never thought when he was removed, it was a lot because of his assistants. But
Mr. Haagen-Dazs. The ice cream man.
he was.
The ice cream man. That was good. No, but because that November 24th and then going into December 1st, that's gonna be a good test. The rank going over into LA, and then going down into Baltimore. That's actually the December 1st. Actually, when I'm trying to attend, I like slid it to the fiance. I was like, babe, how you feel about maybe Baltimore in December? She didn't really like that one too much, but I'm still trying. I'm still gonna try.
Yeah, I was hoping Baltimore would be early.
I'd say yeah.
That would have been a fun bus trip down.
That's where I'm at.
Right,
That's where my mindset's
you
at.
stay in you stay on the
East Coast,
the wharf. No, like
Inner Harbor.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, you're okay.
In the
Stay
Inner
down
Harbor.
there.
Crabs, beer.
Oh, great time down there.
football.
Fells
that's
Point.
good.
Fabrication football.
Like that's a good. That would have been a nice trip. I wish that was early.
I know. That's definitely one of mine. But you know what's funny, cuz, is the end of the season, it's the same end as 2019.
Yeah.
Played Washington, then Dallas, and then the Giants.
Yeah. I mean that's how they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not bad.
Which is good.
Hopefully same ending as well here in 2020.
All right, we got lots to do. Zachariah, he just walked in.
Looking good.
We'll go over the schedule with Zach Berman. We'll do that. Looking forward to it. We got Kevin Negandhi from ESPN, our buddy Kevin, will join us at 10. We'll chop it up with him. Obviously, all kinds of W's and L's. Cousins Clubhouse. Special guest in the Clubhouse today. My man, Pat McClune, the esteemed former editor of the Daily News, will join us in the Clubhouse. And he's a big Eagle man. Big Eagle guy. So we'll go through, we'll tell stories, all kinds of good stuff. So we got lots to get to. It is the Anthony Gargano Show. And what do you want to tell us about, buddy?
Well, first off, let's talk about real quick, guys. So today's a big day. Obviously, we're all excited about this NFL schedule. I know you guys are doing your W's and L's and planning your trips. But guys, we want to react with you. So today is the special day. It's the grand opening of the video calls with the Cuz. So if you guys want to get in, we want to hear from you. We want to see you guys. We want to hear your reaction. So all you got to do, number one, you do have to become a diehard. So you guys got time to subscribe and become a diehard. Then you will get access into the Discord chat. Make sure you find the Gargano Beat chat. And then you'll have to message our producer here, Andrew Frazier. He'll give you all the details to get you in here. So it's that simple, guys. We would really appreciate
Frazier.
Yeah, you got to contact the Frazier there, all right? So make sure you contact him. We'll get you guys in here. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you guys at 10:30. That'll start at 10:30 a.m. in about an hour here. But let's talk to you guys real quick about TrueMark Financial Credit Union here, ladies and gentlemen, because listen, guys, in this day and age, finances can be a tricky topic. It's a tough discussion to have, but with TrueMark, they make it very, very comfortable for you, and that's the best part about it. When you join a credit union like TrueMark Financial, you become a part owner, which means profits come right back to you instead of going to those shareholders. Better rates, lower fees, a better return on savings, and more flexible options with all the same digital tools and technology to make our lives easier. And TrueMark has those local roots. That's what we love about TrueMark. They're located right here in Fort Washington, and they have over 24 branches here in the Philadelphia area. So that's the best part. You got to represent local here, ladies and gentlemen. Becoming a member of a credit union has so many benefits over becoming a customer at a bank. It's an absolute no-brainer. So here's what you got to do. Head on over to TrueMark.com/PHLY to learn more or to find a branch near you. That's TrueMark.com/PHLY, federally insured by the NCUA. And while we're there, ladies and gentlemen, it's summertime. And of course, guys, listen, that sun is going to be beaming. I know it doesn't look like it today, but that sunshine will come out. And you're going to need your Shady Rays here, ladies and gentlemen, all right? And thank God to our friends over at Shady Rays. Guys, these are awesome. You guys know me. I love my sunglasses. I'm rocking different sunglasses. I make sure it fits the fit as well. So with Shady Rays, guys, it's one of my new favorite brands to put on and to rock on a day-to-day basis. And the best part about it is, listen, some of the other sunglasses companies, they give you that quality, but they're pricey. But with Shady Rays, they give you quality, but it's affordable. And that's the best part about Shady Rays there. And you know what else is pretty dope about Shady Rays? We've all been there. We've lost our sunglasses. We've accidentally sat on them. We've dropped them. Lens breaks. But with Shady Rays, if that happens to you, they will hook you up because they will get you a free pair in case that happens to you, in case it breaks or whatnot. So that is some of the big, beautiful parts of Shady Rays. And of course, they're ranked with 5 stars by over 300,000 people. You can check it out here yourselves. Over 300,000 people feel the same way here. So here's what you got to do. Exclusively for you guys, Shady Rays is giving us the best deal of the season. Head on over to Shady Rays, use the promo code PHLY. That'll get you 35% off polarized sunglasses. Again, that's code PHLY for 35% off polarized sunglasses, guys. It's a no-brainer. Make sure you guys check out our friends over at Shady Rays. And thank you to our friends over at Shady Rays as well.
All right, buddy. All right, thank you. This portion of the program brought to you by Rite Aid, your neighborhood pharmacy. Visit your local Rite Aid today. I need to. My allergies are killing me. In fact, Andrew said, dude, we got to take you to Rite Aid. And I'm like, I know, man. It's killing me. Walk in, schedule a vaccine appointment, get whatever you need, and you can check it all out, riteaid.com. Now, joining us from the All PHLY Eagles show, he is the man, Zach Berman.
Good to be here.
What's up, brother?
I'm doing great. Excited. The schedule's out.
Great job. Prime time. That was fun.
Yes, yeah, that was a lot of fun. And excited to come in this morning, do it in person.
Yeah, man. I loved it. I don't know why. The NFL is amazing because these benchmarks through the year, right? Like they're like mileposts in the off season. So obviously you go with free agency. After the Super Bowl, it's still like, you digest. And then you get to free agency. You start prepping for the draft. Then, of course, the draft hits, right? And now the schedule comes out. And you'll have some OTAs and the whole thing, and then training camp. But I love the way it's kind of laid out. And the schedule, even though you know the opponents, and yesterday they leaked early, right? But it's fun. You have a roadmap now of your fall.
Yeah, to the first point there, someone explained to me from the league, they wanted something each month, right? So you have the combine, and then you have free agency,
combine,
and then you have the draft, and then they've turned May into like the schedule release, and it almost becomes like a holiday for some fans. And it's more important than the wins and losses predictions. It's people planning their trips. People have fall weddings, things that they do. I've been traveling now, going on the 13 years, and every flight I take is full of Eagles fans, right? So I know this is a big day for a lot of people watching as well. And yeah, the way the schedule laid out for the Eagles, I think it's pretty advantageous for them.
Yeah, and obviously, we do the W's and L's and stuff like that. But I mean, if I'm going to look at it, 12 in totality seems about right, like somewhere around there.
Yep.
Things go well, like you start rolling. And again, this is injuries aside, you could probably go to 13, or if it's a little tougher, 11. But you see 12. The way you 4 of the last 5 games at home, very advantageous.
Yep.
The way the schedule kind of lays out. I'm not in love with the Week 5 bye, but
Yeah, so you mentioned before that we knew the opponents, right? But the layout of the schedule is important. The things that and there's the things players and coaches pay attention to. They look for short weeks, right? Because that's a problem for teams. The Eagles, I think, played 4 Monday games last year. They've won Monday game this year. So they have these primetime games, but you prefer the primetime games being Sunday night so it doesn't disrupt the whole week. You also
only have one Thursday.
Yes, yep. And they have a Friday game, but that Friday game is the first week of the season. So it's actually a benefit because then you have the longer recovery. And then, we all talked about that gauntlet that they had last year. You want to see the sequence of games. It's tough on you when you're going up against Mahomes and Josh Allen and all these great quarterbacks back-to-back weeks. They don't really have that this year.
They have one... and it's only 2 weeks. It's 2 games. I mean, it's at the Rams and at Baltimore.
Yeah, exactly. That's the toughest stretch right there. And especially you're coming off a primetime game against the Rams. You come back to Philly, then you're going down to Baltimore. But even then, I know the team looks at, as far as road trips, they look at Baltimore, Washington, New York differently than when they're boarding a flight, and it affects their body a little more. But in terms of quality of opponent, that's definitely the toughest stretch.
Yeah, that back-to-back. Now, you have the 2 trips at New Orleans, at Tampa.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be fun for fans.
Yeah. It's a shame. I will say this, from a fan perspective, it's good, not great.
Sure.
You have a lot of the home games back-ended, hurts tailgate.
Yep, exactly.
Right? The nice weather.
Exactly.
Right? That hurts tailgate. Some of the trips, now obviously you lose a home game with Brazil, but some of the trips, like New Orleans, Tampa, 2 great destinations, are back-to-back.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, you're right. And look, Philly's great every time of year, but October is my favorite month.
Oh, the
And,
best. I'm with you.
Yeah,
Mine
and-
too.
Yeah, so you want, if you have those home games in October, that's the best time to be at the game, right? And the Eagles don't have that. It's backloaded to December. I think that they're only in the link 4 times before December 8th or so, right? So yeah,
That's wild. I guess because of the home game. The designation,
exactly. That and then like you mentioned, back to back in Tampa and New Orleans, or the other way around, New Orleans than Tampa. From a fan travel perspective, sometimes fans like that when it's in December, the weather's cold here, you get to go down to Florida or get to go down to Louisiana. But those will be 2 popular things. And then the other thing that I look at from a Philly perspective is the Phillies are going to be good, right? And so you kind of talk about what October, November is going to be like in Philly, and
now when you got playoffs, right? Like, so if you think about this for a second. Let's look ahead to October.
So like the bye week might be when the Phillies are off.
That's actually a great bye week for us.
Yeah, but the
with
Phillies could be
Phillies.
off though. That's the one thing. Like that could be the week when if the Phillies win the division, if they get the top seed potentially.
Oh, right.
Right. But there's a lot that could happen with the Phillies before then.
Well, they're going to win the division.
Yeah.
That's right. The playoff, the first round, they could be. Yeah.
So then, but
Oh, that sucks now.
But
I'm
what I
got
like
me
to see-
excited. I'm thinking, we can at least we have the Phillies to get us through the bye.
But I remember vividly 2008. The Eagles played the Falcons on Sunday at 1. Then they play the Rays and then the Phillies played the Rays in the World Series that night.
I did both.
There you go. Yeah,
Covered both of those games. I also covered the year later was the New York bubble.
Okay.
The New York times 2.
When they played
Giants and the Yankees.
That's cool. I would have liked that. But I'm saying, so this year there could be a chance where the Eagles play the Bengals, a big game, and then they're in the World Series that night, right? Imagine that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Let's talk about the NFL for a second.
Sure.
They're amazing. Like, talk about put your fist on the table, right? Christmas Day.
Yes.
On a Wednesday. And I remember talking to people, and obviously you knew that they were going to play, they were going to figure out Christmas Day. But we're like, all right, how are they going to do a Wednesday? And lo and behold, they figured it out, man. Christmas Day is theirs. They just went to the NBA and went, that's mine.
Yeah.
And stole it.
I'm curious, the viewers, the listeners, if say the Sixers are playing the Knicks and the Eagles aren't playing that day, right? But there's these great NFL games. What are you watching? Are you watching the Sixers game, or are we just so NFL centric?
I will watch the Sixers game. Like I personally would watch the Sixers game, but like I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, I got it's click click.
Yeah, you got the Chiefs, the Ravens,
in between Santa. Right? Like,
exactly.
All this stuff. Like, I'm clicking. And then once that game's over, you're just locked football. And I'm at basketball. I love the NBA, right? But the football, I always watch football.
And then to show how like the NFL's king, I believe they're going head to head too with the college football playoffs this year as well. Right? So
are they really?
Yeah.
I missed that.
I believe that's the case because now you have the expanded college football playoffs. Right, and so I think there's days when the NFL are going head to head with college football.
Wow, that was never the case, too. That's wild.
And it used to be, there was kind of that separation, but the NFL, I don't want to say they're ruthless. They just know they're the biggest ticket in town.
Well, but I've always viewed, dude, I foresaw this. I don't foresee many things, right? Like honestly, But I'm a loser, right? I saw that years ago, I was on the air one day, and I said, this is the Gargano plan. And I laid this out. But I laid out 18 weeks.
Yep.
Double bye, 18
Perfect.
games.
I'm with you there.
Right? 18 games, double bye, which is going to happen.
Yep.
Right? You play the Super Bowl on President's Day.
Yep. Perfect.
Right? And the next thing you know, you got, February gladness goes to March Madness.
Exactly.
Like it's a perfect, perfect length of a season.
Labor Day to President's Day would be perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect,
Yeah.
right? But then I'm thinking, I like the Monday night doubleheader.
So do I.
Right? Now, I wish they would stagger the times a little more, but I love the doubleheader, man. Like, I look at each of these games as inventory, right? Like, why not spread it out?
Exactly.
Like, we're all football fans.
And everyone wants to watch it, right? So yeah, when you have so many games concentrated at 1 p.m., I would rather more isolated time slots.
Yes. Like, I never understood why people hate. I remember bringing this up and going, I would play games, every day.
Sure.
It was up to me. Like, because people, the Saturday games are great. Like, as soon as college football goes, you see that there's the 2 Saturday games. I love it. I'm like, what? You're going to watch it. And people don't, I don't know why they don't like it, why they prefer a concentration of games at 1 o'clock.
It's probably just kind of institutionalized, what they've been growing up with. But then once you experience it, you can't get enough of it, right? That's how I see it. So when they have the Monday night doubleheader, I'm with you. You get that early game, then you get the game after that.
And I would do Tuesday.
Okay,
I would do
Yeah.
a Monday, Tuesday.
Like that Eagles-Vikings game. Remember that? Yep.
Because listen, now you extend. Now, how beautiful is this for the working stiff, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go, I got football Monday and Tuesday, so I have something to look forward to. Tuesday night football.
Mm-hmm.
Now I wake up, it's Wednesday. I only got to make it to Friday.
Yep. I am with you.
And really Thursday, because there's a game Thursday night.
Yeah, I am with you. I gotta say, my wife, she wasn't into football before she married me, and she didn't realize how many nights football were on. And she's like, all right, so you only have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday when you're not watching football, and then you'll laugh at
Tuesday action.
Yep. And then our friend Mike Garofolo. So I was working with him at the Star Ledger, and I was single at the time, and he was engaged. And I would tell him every time, like, Saturdays, I love watching college football Saturdays. He said, he's like, one day you're gonna have to pick, right? You can't be out of the house all day Sunday and then be glued to the TV for 12 hours on Saturday watching college football.
Yeah, it's what sucks, and then when you have kids.
Yes, exactly.
Like, forget
I'm at games all the time, and I'm on the phone looking at the scores.
Right, so I'm like you. I love college football. Love it. I can sit there all day and just watch college football. I love it. Right? We used to do that. We'd sit in the Palladium get there at 11.
Vic Fangio spot.
At 11 o'clock, right?
Yep.
I mean, this is when I'm, in my 20s, and before I left town. We would sit there 11 o'clock and then watch the SEC game at night.
Yep.
Like all day. It's the best. But now, I got kids, I usually try to pick a game or two that can concentrate.
That sounds like heaven to me. Just watching football all day long. When I was a kid, we had to say like what our favorite TV show was, and I said Monday Night Football. And
Did you really?
Everyone looked at me like I was crazy,
love you.
And I
You
looked
and
at
I
them like they were
separated
crazy. Real quick, because you talked about college football. I know you're a Matt Rule guy. You guys are friends. The day before Eagles Bengals up in Columbus, so close to Cincinnati, Ohio State, Nebraska. So I know there's Philly fans here who still follow Matt Rule. That'd be a cool road trip because Ohio State's loaded this year, right? So you get to see Ohio State, Nebraska, and then Eagles, Bengals the next day.
That is a trip.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to do that trip.
That's fun. There's so many good games. There's LSU, UCLA before the Saints game.
What happened with the idea? Because they were toying with the idea of Penn State.
Yeah, that would have been good. That's not the case, unfortunately. But USC plays UCLA the day before the Eagles-Rams game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then I'm a loser. I've looked into all of this. Texas plays against Florida before the Eagles-Cowboys game.
I love you.
Yeah.
You're a rock star in my eyes, dude. Forget about BG what he says.
This is what I do. I remember though. I was at. There was an Eagles-Cowboys game back in, it must have been 2017, and I kept hearing about this quarterback at Texas Tech, Patrick Mahomes, and they're playing TCU the day before the Eagles-Cowboys game. So, I'm staying in Fort Worth. I go, and I saw a few guys in the Eagles front office the next day who I had seen at the game, and they're like, what'd you think of that Mahomes guy, right? So the scouts are doing the same thing. They're trying to package this deal as well.
Oh, it works out perfect. It was a great one. The Eagles were playing L.A., and I was doing a show with Howie.
Okay.
All right. And Howie had to cover practice. UCLA was on like Monday, and USC was on Tuesday. Ooh. All right. So this was one of the highlights of my career. So he goes, dude, listen, I'm stuck. I got stuff to do. Can you cover practice? And I was like, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. He said, there's two. I think at that point, it was a receiver. UCLA was bare. It didn't have much. USC had a couple guys. And I went, so I check in, right? And it says, Anthony Gargano, Eagles scout.
Oh, that's awesome.
Dude,
yeah.
I had I kept it.
You got the notebook?
I had the badge
that
said my name, Eagles scout. I watched. Dude, if I told you I covered that practice, so I had to give him a report.
Yeah.
On practice. I wrote this plus I talked to all the coaches. And you know who was the coach?
Jim Moore.
Ed Ogeron.
USC.
Was the coach at USC.
Yep.
Eddie O.
He could
and I had Ed, it was for 20 minutes. We were talking about his team. I like this boy, this kid over here. I'm to tell you something, Anthony.
Yep.
It was awesome. And it was my favorite thing. I wrote these. If I told you, we like to write.
Yes.
I wrote, got to be 8 pages. Howie goes, my God, you didn't have to do all that.
Yeah, I mean, there was some.
It wasn't even a fertile school. Like, it wasn't like neither of them were that good.
No, but at that time, so that was before Chip got to UCLA. So that was like, Miles Jack was playing for Jim Mora.
Yes.
They had some good players at UCLA then. And then USC under Ed was just loaded.
Yeah.
Because that was the end of the Kiffin
At that point,
era.
UCLA was bare, I remember.
Okay.
Chip was rolling in Oregon.
Yep.
At that point. Yeah, fun stuff.
That's
it was
fun. I'm jealous.
Howie and I were doing the show.
Yeah.
And he's like, you got to come out with me because we did the show together. We had it from a studio out there. It was awesome.
I recall well after the press conferences on Monday, we would all have to go. I say we, a few of the beat guys would go over and listen to you and Howie on set.
Oh, get out!
Oh yeah, just in case Howie said something.
Actually,
right?
I remember that.
Yeah, just in case Howie said something.
Yeah, you never know. It was fun. We used to have a good time. Zachariah,
this was great.
What do you think? What number? What's your number?
I have them going 12-5.
12-12.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
And I think that's good enough to win the NFC East.
Yeah.
And this is like a no excuse year, I think. When you look at the schedule, when you look at the roster they have, obviously injuries could affect it, but 12 wins should be good enough to win the division. Yeah,
I'm with you. My man. Great to see you, brother. What time are you on today? Noon time for Zachariah and Bo Wolf. All PHLY Eagle Show. Make sure you're hanging out, all right, with those guys. Those guys are the best. This portion of the program brought to you by the Bet Park Sportsbook and Casino app. That's right. Gotta love it. An incoming brain.
Brain. Red, the brain finder.
Hello.
Hey, good morning to you, my friend. How are you, Anthony?
What do you say there, brain?
Interesting games last night. Dallas, to me, Anthony, I think they really seized control of the series. Captain Obvious here a little bit saying that, but I think that series is over. I really do. I thought Dallas was going to win in maybe a 6 or 7 gamer. Beforehand, I was rooting for OKC hard, but I just think Dallas is better, and I think OKC is a legit. Either I'm not sure if they're young or they're just a player short in terms of a good player short to help SGA because he has no help out there.
No, I agree. I like their depth. Like they have a lot of good. Listen, I like Chet Holmgren a ton, right? Yeah. I like a lot of Jalen Williams, a good player, right? Like there's some good talent. But you're right about that number 2. Like, he needs a co-star. Like, Embiid and Maxey. I don't think you need 3, but I think you still need somebody that you need a co-star. I think SGA needs that guy. I don't know if Chet is there yet for that.
No, and I know he would never in a zillion years go there. I just know, obviously, for a million reasons, he would never even consider, I'm sure. But if LeBron were to say, you know what, let me try to equal Michael Jordan, if he went there, I could easily see that team winning 2 straight and he gets a 6th ring. Because I think he'd be a perfect fit for them. Another guy that could actually just score, distribute, and just take all the pressure off him. Again, he's not going to go there, so I'm obviously it's irrelevant. But they are 1 player short. Don't know. No, they have so many draft assets, Anthony. I don't know. Maybe they can make a trade with the team to get someone good. Ironically enough, is Paul George a free agent? Anthony, is it free agent or is he? Okay, I was gonna say, because I know he obviously played there, and obviously that trade changed around the whole franchise.
The Sixers are eyeing Paul George. There's a lot of talk that the Sixers would be
another team. He liked it there. Supposedly, he actually resigned there. If you remember, Anthony, resigned long term there, and they traded him. So I'm not saying. I mean, if maybe he would be willing to go back again. I just think they're 1 player short right now, but I think it easily be fixed.
If you're him though, you got Embiid, Maxey. That's a bet.
I mean, let me ask you a question. I will respectfully disagree with you. I think if he goes to OKC, I think OKC is better than Philadelphia. Versus if he goes to Philadelphia,
but you don't know. You have a blank. The whole beauty of this offseason for the Sixers is that you have a blank canvas. You're starting with 2 elite players.
For sure, but listen again. I love that Philadelphia can get him, but we'll see. I'm saying Paul George has a lot of good options to do what he wants to do for sure. I do have a take though, Anthony, for you. And again, did you watch any of the Boston game last night?
No, I was watching schedule.
No, I respect that. There is. I keep saying it. And that's just the more I watch them, I can't even put my finger on it. Someone like Legs, when you get him on next, love to hear his take because he obviously knows the game so well. But I'm doubling, tripling down. This team will not win the title. I
could say it. Yeah.
Well, I don't think the Knicks are going to beat them.
No, you're saying they're going to lose to Denver or Dallas. Like I watched the Dallas game. I had no interest in Boston. Because Cleveland decimated,
that's my point. The Cleveland decimated was right there with them, Anthony.
Yeah, but we've seen a million times teams play down to competition. They played down to Cleveland the whole series.
And I got to tell you, it's just such a bad look to me for them. And I will say this: if the Knicks, if OG was playing. I never thought I'd say this. If OG was playing, which I don't think he's going to be, I think that would actually be a 7-game series. I really do.
I don't. I disagree.
Well, we're not going to find out.
But, I think they roll. I think Boston rolls them. They're just too good. Like they do have a habit of playing down the competition. Like again, when you're like that, but that's a. I see it all the time in sports. You see it all the time in sports.
Yeah.
When you get teams and you're going to win, and you take your foot off. I mean, there are times in this series where Boston can do whatever they want, get whatever shot they want.
No, that's very fair, Anthony. But again, there's just I'll say this right now. You can get, I think, Denver to beat Boston plus 370, Dallas to beat Boston. I think it was 11-1. I don't think Boston. I really don't think Boston, despite being uber talented. And it's like when I break the team down, it's like I think Al Horford's a winner. I mean, I think the guy's a two-time
you're going to get Porzingis back.
Yeah, and I think Drew Holiday is a winner. It's not like I think that Derek White I think is great. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's they rely too much on the three. I don't know.
Well, I think that's valid.
That team.
I think it's valid. I think they do rely. They're too reliant upon the three.
Yeah.
And I agree with that.
Like an unbeatable team.
And they're not a great defensive team.
No, not at all. And I do think they actually are going to need Porzingis. Before the playoffs, I thought without him, they're still going to coast. And again, in this Cleveland series, to me, again, I know they won the games. I get it. But it's like, I don't know. There's just it shouldn't have been
I
like
think
that.
you're reading too much into it, dude. I mean, we'll find
We'll
out.
see. Again, I will say I think Denver, the winner of Denver Dallas, I think will beat this team, and they'll be an underdog. By the way, they'll be an underdog. Um, and again, I'd rather attack it as I said. Right now, you can get if you actually just pick it right now today, you can get 11-1 on Dallas winning, Anthony, and you can get plus 370 on Denver beating them today. Whatever one you preferred, I would rather go that route because you're not going to get anything close to that in the finals when they're playing. You're not getting 11-1 on Dallas to beat them, and you're not going to get close to 4-1 on Denver to beat them. So I would say if you like one of those two teams to go to the final, Boston is going to go to the finals. They're minus I think 800 right now on Parks to go to the finals. I think it's a much better way of getting a much better price you're going to get in the finals if you do it today.
So the brain is hanging out with us, brought to us by our good friends at the Bet Parks Sportsbook and Casino app and the Parks Casino Ben Salem. With the schedule out, knowing now the order of the game, how much work have you done with the schedule and with futures win totals?
Yeah, well, it's funny, Anthony. I have already bet, I want to say like 16 of these over-unders. And no exaggeration, all 16 went in my favor in terms of how they moved. The line movements went 16-0 my way. So I've basically done most of my work. Now, look, the order of the schedule, yeah, I mean, that there's things maybe to tweak for sure, which I'm going to do. I didn't have time to do it yesterday. I've done too much other stuff. But in my opinion,
short weeks, the opponents back to back. I mean,
absolutely.
There's divisional things.
100%. And even stuff, Anthony, I gave you a little something. Like, let's suppose I'm going to give you an example. And I actually did bet this over. I don't have to tell you. I bet the Arizona Cardinals over 6.5 wins. Okay. Let's suppose week 17, they're playing San Francisco, albeit home or away. That's what you want. Why? Because there's it's called a 25% chance that game is not going to mean anything to San Francisco. So you may get San Francisco's B, C, D team. Do you follow what I'm saying? If you like a team's over or under, depending on which side you like, I always look at that Week 17 matchup knowing there's a true 1 out of 4 chance it's going to be a fake game one way or the other. So if you like the over, if you're playing a bad team, I'm playing a good team, it may be an easier game than you're thinking. You follow what I'm saying? So I always look at that. That's always something the pros look at is that last game to see, if you can get like an extra, let's call it maybe a 0.2 wins you can get, tab on your total because you're factoring in that last game may not be a true what it looks like today.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Hey, let me ask you a question off of the subject on the baseball real quick. The Phillies are 31-13. Somebody told me some crazy stat. Tooch told me that they were like the first fives. There was some ridiculous clip of their first five because the rotation has been so good, so dominant that they're like winning almost every first 5-inning bet.
Well, they're probably winning like every bet in general, Anthony, because again, with that record, I don't have the data and I can look that up though. I'll do that a little bit later of what they are in terms of first 5 versus the game, but I'm going to guess it's somewhat really close. I don't remember this team blowing many late leads. Do you?
No,
right.
I guess,
like no. I'm just trying to think, is there, I don't think there's any has there been okay, like in the past with our favorite pitcher, Craig Kimbrell, blowing games left, right, and up the middle, which Baltimore's now seeing. By the way, Baltimore needs data. They need to do what the Cubs did with Aroldis Chapman here. They won the World Series. Baltimore, for the next 7 years, they're the new Houston Astros. They're going to start going to every ALCS. They need to get a real closer because if you're going to play with fire in these 3-2 close playoff games, and you're going to trot out Craig Kimbrell in the 9th inning, you're literally going to throw away your entire season. But I don't think the Phillies have really had many losses this year that I could think. I'm trying to remember any.
I guess my question to you is, I mean, obviously it's too late for a. You don't want to jump on now, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Like early on, we saw how good they are. Did you go ride baseball streaks? Are you were you riding the Phillies? To me, you got to want to ride the Phillies. And I'm not saying it today. I'm saying it 3 weeks ago when we were talking about how good they are.
We gave out on the show. We talked about Phillies plus 350. We thought was a good bet to win the division.
Yes.
We talked about that when it was plus 350. I think now it's plus $1 or something. Okay.
Wow.
So, I mean, to me, that was the bet to make. Braves had lost Strider. Phillies are good. Phillies are, you know what's funny? Like, they're kind of bulletproof. I mean, they're really good. But again, and I think it was one of your guests on the other day, Anthony, and I really disagreed with him. I think it may have been Jim Salisbury. I will argue with whoever's the biggest baseball expert in the world in this, and I'll just say they're not going to be able to convince me. He more or less said, "Oh, the Phillies are playing with more fire this year because they lost last year to the way they lost to Arizona, and they're just playing with more intensity or whatever, and in the postseason this year that'll show itself through." I think the baseball playoffs are the most random of random sports that we have in the world.
Yeah, I completely agree. I always talk about it. Hey, we're up against it. Do me a favor.
Yeah,
No, I could talk to you all day. Brad'sBestBets.com, at Brad's Best Bets. Make sure you follow him and make sure you sign up for his thing. He's unbelievable. What do you got for us today, real quick?
Real quick. Michael Porter Jr., Anthony, the hate's gone too far. He averages 17 for the year. He's gone under 2 straight times. He was 16.5 in this series. They lowered it to 13.5. 7-3 to the over in the playoffs. 56-25 during the year. Yeah, he won under 2 in a row. I'm still going to take my chance. Michael Porter Jr. over. Next, Karl Anthony Towns over 6.5 rebounds. Anthony, he averages closer to 8 rebounds. He's getting more minutes now. Over 41-21 during the regular season. 6-3 over the playoffs. I like Towns over 6.5 rebounds. That have at least 7.5.
Look at
and
these
then
overs. Violations, Greg.
Oh my God.
Brad is going over.
Pigs fly. This is incredible. But Anthony, I will leave you on a brighter note. Joey Estes, Oakland A's under 4.5 strikeouts you can get on Parks, laying $1.67. This guy had a bad minor league strikeout rate, Anthony, going against the number 1 team in Major League Baseball, the Houston Astros, strikeout. If he goes 5 innings, he's not getting 1 strikeout per inning. I think the line right here should be, I like even under 3.5. You want to take that up plus $1.32. Joey Estes under 4.5 or 3.5 strikeouts. Take your pick. Both are good bets.
All right, Brain. Thank you, buddy. The Brain brought to us by the Bet Park Sportsbook and Casino app. Let me tell you about Primos, because we talk about the football, and it makes me think about tailgates, and it makes me think about football, it makes me think about Primos. The ultimate sports food is the Primo Hoagie. I got to find out what Kevin Negandhi's Primo of choice is. I know Kevin, he loves it. We all love it, right? The beauty of Primos is that you like the classics, like the ham, the turkey, right? You can go veggie, the Italian, like these are all classics. You got the meatball, you got the chicken cutlet, the chicken parm. You could do what I always love, the Diablos, which is the great, or the old world Italians. I love those. I love those sandwiches. Incredible. Primo Hoagie's the same taste. It's funny. My man Boo was like talking about the NFL on Christmas Day, and he was saying he doesn't need it, and it shocks me. But I think about all the time that Boo and I were at the Primo's on Ritter Street, the original, and now, Mike, we used to sit on the step and eat the hoagie. It was incredible, right? And now it's the same sandwich. 90 locations across the Delaware Valley and nationwide. PrimoHoagies.com. All right, go get the party tray for all your parties, the pickies. Don't forget the cookies. Primo Hoagies, you'll say what I always say. It's not just a hoagie. It's a Primo, JP.
I need that roast beef Diablo, cuz.
Here you go to roast beef.
You put me on the long hots in the hoagie, which has changed my world.
It's tremendous.
It's absolutely awesome. But you know what you need to wash down that hoagie with, ladies and gentlemen? It's Olipop. What else, ladies and gentlemen? I love me that Olipop. It tastes just like soda. In this day and age, listen, we're trying to take care of our health, especially that gut health, ladies and gentlemen. So that's where Olipop comes into play. Olipop is the world's first functional soda with that classic soda taste that we're talking about. It has the benefits of plant-based fibers, prebiotics, and other botanical ingredients to support that gut health, ladies and gentlemen. The best part about the soda, it has 2 to 5 grams of sugar with 9 grams of fiber per can, and that's where our health nuts are going to go crazy for. And you can find this in over 30,000 retailers nationwide, including the recent launch here at Wawa. But hey, you can also find it at Target, Sprouts, Wegmans, ShopRite, and of course, if it's late night, order it through GoPuff as well. But as always, guys, We got you hooked up with that promo code. If you use the promo code PHLY20, you'll get 20% off your next Olipop order. However, this discount only applies to one-time orders, not to subscription orders, and Olipop is sold online as well at drinkolipop.com and on Amazon. So next time you're thinking about maybe your hoagie or pizza night, Friday's tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, think of Olipop. Thank you, Olipop.
All right, JP, thank you. We've reached the 10 o'clock hour across the Delaware Valley, brought to you by the Bet Park Sportsbook and Casino app. Now joining us, hometown hero from ESPN. There he is, the one, the only, Kevin Negandhi. Kev!
Man, you got me starving at 10 a.m. I want a turkey Diablo or a chicken cutlet. Like, come on. And listen, we don't got Primos in Connecticut, man. Come on.
I heard. You know what's funny? I was talking to them, and they're expanding nationwide now, right? And I told them that they should hit Connecticut, and I specifically said right by the campus because
heck yeah,
there's not a lot there. Like, the cafeteria is good, but there's not a lot there, right?
No.
A Primo's would kill it
a little bit, but there's no like cool hoagie place. Like, ain't nobody going to Subway. There's no cool hoagie place.
Exactly. We might have to get it to Kevin Negandhi Primos in Connecticut.
Yeah. Hey, Ant, don't hesitate. Don't tease me. Sign me up. We'll talk.
So the schedule's out. Isn't it? Do you get as giddy as I do as a loser? But you and I are kind of you and I have always been the cut from the same cloth, brother from another mother.
Yeah. So I hosted the schedule release show last night with Schefter, Mina Kimes, Marcus Spears, and Dan Orlovsky. We had a lot of fun. One of the things that I really enjoyed, we didn't do the low-hanging fruit of wins, losses. But I will tell you, when you look at the Eagles' schedule, a few things stood out. There's two ruts. It's not the gauntlet that we saw last year. The one thing that stood out is no 1 p.m. games for the Eagles tailgates in September because, there's nothing better than the weather's great. You're there Sunday morning for the 1 p.m. kick and it's sunny out. You could really still enjoy the fall as you're getting ready for a playoff run for the Phillies team. And then you only see one October 13th. And then the next one, the next home 1 o'clock game is in December. And it's against the Panthers, right? So the final 6 games, you're in the Northeast. You don't need to do a lot of traveling. That's great. That sets up for them. The one, and we had leaks, of course, and we knew about it. The thing that stands out is giving up a home game against the Packers. That is a critical game to start the season, and you're in South America with 2 new coordinators coming in after getting the collapse. You want to wipe that bad taste out of your mouth. A home game in a national environment with Jordan Love coming in sets the tone, right? And it's a little bit different. They get the Monday night game. They get like a mini bye as well with the Falcons coming into town. But you lose the opportunity to say, all right, Jordan Love play in this environment. A couple years ago, we had Aaron Rodgers. I was at that game. Rodgers got hurt. Love came in for mop-up duty in the final quarter. And the environment was electric against the Packers. We're going to miss that. It's not going to be favoring the Eagles. Who knows? In South America, it just won't have that South Philly flavor. Who knows how that crowd's going to be in Brazil as we test these coordinators out. And I want to see how we respond.
And Green Bay is good. Their offense, it's amazing how they found all those receivers, right? Like, you include Musgrave, tight end, in that group. I mean, they're good. Yeah. I mean, they go 4 deep at wide, and they're all young. Really, 5 deep.
Yeah, that's a great point. And to your point about Green Bay historically, I know much has been made, especially in the back end of Aaron Rodgers' Packers career, that they never used a first-round pick on a wide receiver. They do such a great job developing guys and finding guys day 2, day 3 within a year or two in a system. And that's going all the way back to Donald Driver, right? Like, you can go back, Antonio Freeman, where they develop guys for 2 decades who are day 2, day 3 picks, and they find like Wicks is a phenomenal find, and he's your number 3 guy on this team when it comes to wide receivers. So I think it's a great point, and our secondary will be tested out the gate.
Yeah, and then the only other trouble spot though is that Rams Ravens back to back. I mean that's a tough. Like, Baltimore's legit. I thought. Lamar's taking his game to that ridiculous level, and then you have a tough one. If Stafford's healthy, Rams are really good.
Yeah, you're right. I was surprised too that they didn't put Giants Eagles prime time, that first game at MetLife in October 20th. It's a 1 p.m. kick. I was stunned by that as well.
I mean, the Barkley game. I mean, they're right on top of that.
And it makes me think. Not knowing, it just makes me think the schedule makers are thinking, October. We're going to see a lot of Phillies in prime time. So we're not going to put that game on prime time on the weekend.
That's a great point. No, you're spot on there. What else kind of stands out? Like having the week 5 bye for them is not advantageous. I usually like it a little bit later on, but you couple that with all the home games to end the season.
Yeah, you know what stands out? Again, I started the conversation with you saying I'm not a win-loss. Hey, win-loss. This just feels like a 12-win schedule, right? It feels like, hey, no matter what, they can win 12 games. I caution us by saying this in May because not one person would have predicted a collapse and losing to Arizona and New York in December when all they had to do was win those 2 games to get the 1 seed. But to me, we'll learn a hell of a lot out the gate against the Packers and Falcons. We'll learn a heck of a lot in those first 4 games before the bye because you then travel to New Orleans and then the Bucs. And after the Bucs embarrassed us, and now you got to go back to Tampa and deal with that. I'll be curious about that first 4 games out the gate. That Browns defense is going to be phenomenal. Who knows what they're going to get from Deshaun Watson. If you keep on going, Joe Burrow, will he be playing in late October? We haven't seen Joe Burrow healthy in quite some time. When he's healthy, it's a completely different team. That little run there where they got the Bengals on the road. Who knows what we're going to get with Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars, and then you got the Cowboys, right?
Yeah. You don't know about Joe Burrow. You don't know about Lawrence. The Cowboys. It's really bizarre.
It is. It's choppy. You know what it is? It's choppy. But I will take, Ant, a choppy schedule over last year's experience.
Oh, yes.
And right now, last night when the schedule came out, I was like, my goodness, what are Steeler fans going to look at the final 2 months, guys? Like, I don't mean to sidetrack, but we went through the gauntlet last year. The Steelers gauntlet in the final 8 games, they faced all 6 division opponents. All of them are playoff contenders. And the other 2 outside the division are the Eagles and the Chiefs. Yeah. And in an 11-day stretch, Steeler fans have to experience the Eagles, the Ravens, and the Chiefs in an 11-day stretch. So let's just be thankful that the Eagles are not experiencing what they had to go through last year to this year when you see the schedule.
I mean, that is completely – I mean, you think about that. And it's so not fair because it really isn't. Like, you look at that Steelers team, and they're excited in Pittsburgh, right? Like, I think they're a good team, and they're growing and the whole thing. They're building, and that 3-game stretch is a death knell.
And who knows who's going to be quarterback at that time, right? It's like who's standing up because you start the season with question marks about, hey, is it going to be Fields or Wilson? My whole thing was who's going to finish the season, especially in that 11-day stretch and those final 8 games. Because we all know the AFC North is such a brutal division. We all know how physically taxing it is. And then you have to deal with 6 of those opponents in your final 8 games, and then you can't catch a breather because you have the Eagles and the Chiefs. I mean, good luck, Mike Tomlin. Good luck in trying to figure that out.
Incredible.
And with a winning record.
It's just incredible. It really is. It's incredible. How about we were talking about this, the NFL and Christmas. So a buddy of mine goes, my buddy Boo says, I don't need the NFL on a Christmas Day Wednesday. And I go, heresy. I want football. I love football at Christmas. It goes together.
It does. And the NFL said, we don't care. We're going to make this our holiday. It doesn't matter what's playing. 5 NBA games, we're going to do whatever we want to do. And they continue to do it. And they move the needle. And now you got to go to Netflix. And it's really impressive what they continue to do. They've got 2 good matchups. And they dominate. The NFL's king, man. The NFL, no doubt, understands the game, and they play by their rules the entire time. The idea that we've got a Thursday night game, a Friday night game, obviously Saturday, that first weekend is all college football, and our ABC lineup is stacked that Saturday. Then you got this. No. Wait, sorry. That was the week before. But like the whole point is that the NFL understands that they can run the entire Labor Day weekend, and the week going into their schedule, they can do whatever they want. Like it's like, all right, you're gonna get your college football fix. And then once Labor Day's done, we're going right into doing whatever we want. We're going to run things, and that's what the NFL can do.
Hey, speaking of college football, just a quick aside, because I'll get back to the NFL schedule, but you got me thinking, because I love 2 things. I love Labor Day. I love college football owning Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
I also love Week 0. I think they need to expand Week 0 and make it more of a thing. Like, you have all those schools, you have all that inventory. You can easily make Week 0 something special.
I think you're going to see that more and more as the one weekend is, of course, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday night, right, for college football in Week 1. I think you're going to start seeing more Week 0 matchups. I mean, we're seeing, games played overseas, right?
Yeah.
Week 0. I also think the biggest fear, because one thing about college football is tradition. Now, we've seen tradition being bucked and rivalries dying because everybody's moving around. But usually these early games, they don't have a preseason. They want to rev up, right? So sometimes you don't see a lot of marquee matchups in Week 0 because they want to rev up. They want to get hey, let's make sure we can get on track here. But now with playoff expansion, if you want to have that marquee matchup in Week 0, you can have that and afford to have a loss or 2, and you're still going to be in the playoff conversation, right? I think it opens the door with playoff expansion. You're going to see more marquee matchups potentially in Week 0 pushed up as this continues to grow with the sport.
Yeah, and it's interesting because what I would do is I would have you have the great Saturday, but I would move that Sunday. I would have a 1 o'clock, a 4 o'clock, a prime time, and Monday Labor Day I would have a 1 o'clock, a 4 o'clock, and a prime time. Now I know they have prime times on Sunday and Monday, but I would add the premier 1 and 4, and then you have 2 after the big Saturday. You got 3 games Sunday, 3 games Monday.
I think sometimes the fear, and now we're seeing schools start way early, right? I think sometimes the fear with a Week 0 lineup, or like you just mentioned, Labor Day weekend lineup, is that it's still the last chance to be outside. It's the last chance to enjoy summer. And that's why you have the primetime games on Sunday night. You have the primetime game on Monday night because people are coming back indoors and settling down after being out all day and enjoying the final weekend before the school year kicks in. Not just for college. It's for, obviously, from grades, kindergarten to 12th grade. We experienced that, right? It's like it's enjoying the final weekend. I can't do that.
I was thinking about Christmas when we were kids, right? I was thinking about Christmas Day. Christmas Day, and this was like pre-NBA, right?
Yeah.
The only sports that were on was like the Hula Bowl or like Mississippi State.
Egg Bowl, right? Yeah, that's the Thanksgiving. But no.
Oh, that was Thanksgiving.
Right?
Wait, that's Thanksgiving. I'm blending my holidays. That was Thanksgiving. But Christmas
was the Hula Bowl.
The Hula Bowl. There was never any games.
Yeah, you'd have maybe the Holiday Bowl. You'd have a couple of different.
Yeah, maybe a
That was it.
BYU.
And for the NFL to just say, hey, "This is our inventory. We're gonna do whatever we want on that day," and then signing a 3-year deal with Netflix. Again, they're king. They are king. And guess what? No matter what we say, we will watch. No matter what we
Listen,
say.
I make no pretense about it. No, I mean, stop. Well, of course we're going to watch. And nowadays, like I believe that because sports TV is so unique that it's the only place where commercials are viable, where you're going to watch. You'll sit there, you may click, but you're going to catch some commercials because you're watching the game. And the idea of devices everywhere. Like I could watch the game on my phone, on my tablet, and anywhere I could be on the beach, I'll get a signal and I can watch the game on the beach. Like nowadays you consume it everywhere.
Yeah.
So, have at it.
There. And the accessibility is there. And I hear you on that. And I was stunned. I got to admit, I was stunned that there were only 2 games on Christmas Day. I was waiting for the triple header, like we see at Thanksgiving now, and now they have Black Friday. Like I was waiting. I was waiting for a triple header coming. But like you made a point. We may see that down the road. It's on a Wednesday, so just 2 games. All right, they found a way to play on a Wednesday night.
So can they do? Here's the thing I like too. Although I wish they staggered it more. I think there's 4 or 5 Monday night doubleheaders.
There is, 4, I think. Yep.
Yeah. I like it better when the times are staggered, so you can do 7 and 10. So that I guess the time's now like 8:15 and 9 or whatever. What's the thought process behind that? Are you going to be involved in any of that stuff?
I'll be doing no. You know what? As of right now, I enjoy my Mondays off since I work Saturdays. I completely enjoy my Mondays off. It gives me the chance to be at home with the kids and be somewhat normal on a school night.
Yeah.
So I get to sit back and relax. And it's cool for me because if there's a Sunday game I want to go to, I can go anywhere and then come
you
back.
travel,
and
get back in
Monday,
time.
or if there's a Monday night game, I've got time to go to a game and then come back. So as of right now, I'm not scheduled to do anything on Monday in the fall. Of course, that could change.
Yeah, I listen. I love the doubleheader. I think it's a great idea.
Same here.
I could see them doing 2 regular Tuesday night games too. Once you add another week, and it's 18 games, and you'll have 20 weeks with double bye, so you have a first half bye and a second half bye. There's enough off days so you could stagger the games and not have and play Tuesday night.
And none of that will surprise me. As they continue, none of that will surprise. Tuesday's the only one. If they're playing Wednesday, we already know they play Thursday. They play Black Friday. We see Saturdays, in December. Tuesday's the last one, man. Move to the side, Maction. The NFL's coming. It's eventually going to happen. Don't be surprised, like you said, with the expansion of 18 games down the road.
All right, before we get out of here, I got to bring this up. 31 and 13.
Wow.
Dude,
Wow.
Dude, they don't lose. The fighting Phillies don't lose.
And we haven't seen the best of this team, which is amazing. And it's a built-in thing. Like, just think about the last 2 wins. Like, Nola going 9. And you got Bryce dealing with the migraine, so they have 4 different fielders in different positions. They all hold up. They figure out a way. They rest the bullpen. Then Suarez comes in. Bryce is back, and they're like, we got to carry Suarez a little bit. They don't lose, and they beat inferior teams, right? Because the last few years, the frustration is the mucking and the grinding with these inferior teams, and they just shut the door and they just say, we're moving on. I love everything about this team. The depth is important. Taking all these innings by the starters is really important because you're going to need that bullpen on the back end, and we still haven't seen the best of this team yet. It's amazing, and it's fun. Just lean into it.
You're so right. Like, do we talk about June and Schwarber and the hot weather? Like, it's been cold and rainy here, for most of May. At some point next week, I think it's going to get into the 80s. It'll kick in, and the ball will fly. The thing that's been, to me, the biggest, the most impressive part of this team is that rotation. That rotation is ridiculous. I mean, Ranger doesn't have his best stuff yesterday. Guts out 5 innings, only gives up 2 runs. But his ERA is now down to 1.37. He's 8-0. Nola, you mentioned earlier. I mean, are you kidding me with this rotation?
Yeah, Wheeler wasn't happy about his one performance. He comes back and he's nasty. Like, they all respond. And the best part of this, Ant, we haven't hit a skid. Like, there's no back-to-back losses. It's next day, let's fix it, let's move on, right? And I love that business-like machine approach that this team has, which is great right now. You just accumulate these wins. You're going to hit – it's the dog days of summer. You're going to hit a rut somehow, some way. Let's just get ready for it in July and August. That's okay, though. They're not playing with a lot of pressure, and they're just winning games, and that stuff's going to pay off down the road. So it's been really enjoyable, man. Just lean into it and enjoy it while we can, and it's just saving those arms. I love the depth that they have. And the other small thing, too, all right, the young boys, they're all growing up right before our eyes.
Yeah.
Stott and Bohm, there are no question marks anymore about them. It's, hey, we need you guys to carry us right now. We don't have JT. We don't have Bryce in the lineup for a couple of days. Got it. They figure it out, right? The maturity that we're seeing and the growth that we're seeing with the team is I'm loving it, man. Like, and it's just fun. It's just fun to beat teams that they should be beating every single day.
It's awesome. My brother, bless the family, all right?
Much
God
love,
bless
bro.
them, the boys, and your beautiful wife. So, and your beautiful daughter. Love you, brother. You're the best.
Thank you, my man. Talk to you next week.
You got it. The great Kevin Negandhi, hometown hero, checking in. Love it. I love all that stuff, like that sports TV stuff. Look at the VG's tie, yawning, stretching. He doesn't just yawn. He does one of those stretch yawns. What's that about? What is he gloomy? What do we do? He can't stretch like that.
Did you bore VG
He's
over
like,
there?
like a bear. Or the bird. He's a bird.
Oh, bird.
He's a bird. He's a bird. All right. Coming up, Clubhouse, VG's Nugs. All right. We got calls. We're going to be taking some phone calls. My main man, Pat McClune, the esteemed former editor of the Philadelphia Daily News, an incredible sportsman, a great football man. I wanted him in for the schedule. So he's going to be in the clubhouse as well, as we always have a lot of fun. We may have an Uncle Frank sighting.
Uncle Frank?
Could you believe that? We may have an Uncle Frank sighting.
I'm excited.
And, I mean, it's that's something. All right, let me tell you about the Parks Casino in Ben Salem. All right? How about this? The Femmes of Rock. You like the Femmes of Rock, VG? Love them, he said. All right? Classic rock on violins, cool act. They headline Parks Casino this Friday night, tomorrow night. Sebastian Bach, right? You like him, VG? Skid Row, that's right. He brings his solo tour to headline on Saturday night at Parks Casino. How about August 23rd? The Marshall Tucker Band. September 7th, Australian Pink Floyd. Oh, man, this is amazing. There's all kinds of stuff going on at the Parks Casino in Ben Salem. All right. Michael Blaustein, a great comedian, on October 25th. They got it all set. They have the schedule. They have their own schedule of headliners, all at Parks Casino, the #1 casino experience in the state of Pennsylvania. Parks has, this is the best too, 3,200 state-of-the-art slots, 115 live table games, an incredible poker room, state-of-the-art sports book, 150-foot video wall, plus the ultra-cool X Lounge. Dining options amazing at the Parks Casino collection of award-winning restaurants. the Parks Grill Steakhouse, the Liberty Bell Gastro Pub and Beer Garden, delicious hand-rolled sushi rolls at Bamboo Noodle House. Check out New York's best club comedians every other Thursday night and the best cover bands every weekend at 360 Lounge. Visit parkscasino.com. Parks Casino, this is how you win. Got to be 21. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Awesome stuff, cuz. All right, let's talk a little bit about Rite Aid, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking a lot about health and protecting yourself. You got to protect yourself with those vaccines, and Rite Aid will always hook you up with those vaccines. Protect yourself and your family by staying up to date with your immunizations. Rite Aid pharmacists are specially trained and certified immunizers. Most vaccines are no cost with insurance or through government plans like Medicare Part D. Unsure what vaccines you need? Get a personalized recommendation from a Rite Aid pharmacist, and Rite Aid pharmacists can help you with your vaccines for COVID-19, shingles, pneumonia, tetanus, whooping cough, chickenpox, and much, much more. Again, guys, they always will hook you up. They always have you in your best interest. We talk about it all the time here on Rite Aid. So here is exactly what you need to do. Select the Rite Aid stores, have dedicated pharmacists ready to administer vaccines and answer all of your questions. Have questions about immunizations, what you need, not sure if you're up to date, feeling nervous to ask questions. A Rite Aid pharmacist will take the time to make personalized recommendations based on your health history and discuss any concerns. No questions are too small. Just walk in or schedule an appointment Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. State, age, and health restrictions may apply. Ask a Rite Aid pharmacist for details here today. Thank you, Rite Aid.
All right, we're going to come back and the Clubhouse. So don't go anywhere. We're going to have a lot of fun. We'll go through W's and L's and the whole nine. All right, that's coming up next. Anthony Gargano Show right here on the ALLCITY, All PHLY Network.
What's up?
All right. Let me just make some introductions and we'll talk about it. So right here, my dear friend and a Philadelphia legend. Legend. The esteemed former sports editor of the Daily News and he was the overall editor-in-chief of the Daily News, but an amazing sportsman. Pat McClune, one of the greats, pioneers in this town, the greatest sports section. If you're a Philadelphian, you read the Daily News every day, and you especially loved the Friday Daily News, and that was this man.
Long live the Daily News, and whenever I need a boost, I get it from you. Thank you, Anthony.
My God.
Yeah.
Like that Friday paper was, first of all, it would make you 6'5" if you stood on it.
Yeah, don't get me started about that. You know, we had when we merged the two sections together, I'm telling you, me and Eddie Barkowitz were about 2 years ahead on the sports betting. We put him in a position to do the betting, and what I wanted to do is take that Eagles playbook, Daily News style, merge it with bumped up Eddie, bumped up Vegas Vic, and make it an Eagles betting extravaganza.
Wow!
And take it out and sell it. And they wouldn't go for it.
God,
it didn't
are you
sell.
serious?
It was only too obvious, Anthony. Only too obvious.
That was the curse of newspapers. By the way, Violations, Greg Caputo, and of course the great JP. And in the box is Andrew in the box. First of all, thanks to Julia Hoff, who runs this whole place and is able to coordinate last minute as I go, yeah, I want Pat to come in. I want this guy. I want everything to come in. This portion of the Anthony Gargano Show brought to you by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Learn about the credit union difference at TrueMark.com. And don't forget to use the PHLY for your code. What do you got, Andrew?
We got Uncle Frank.
Okay, well, I'm going to get to Uncle Frank. We're going to do Uncle Frank in a minute.
All right.
Too, but I got to... I want to chat it up here with Pat for a second. So Pat is an amazing football guy. You love football. You're an Eagles man through and through. You know, you're born of the soil of Philadelphia.
It affects my mood, and it affected our circulation. Back in the day when print was king, an Eagles loss was good for 20,000 extra papers. An Eagles loss, down we went. Nobody wanted to read bad news. Now, I did it for a job. So I went in and read the bad news, and we did it objectively. But, so I go way, way back.
Oh, you were always able to be objective and also know what was in your heart. I think if you're a Philadelphia journalist, the reason why you get into this is because of your love of sports and your love of the teams.
Exactly. And you and I are good examples of it. And when I first got wind of a young, aspiring writer, big Buddy Ryan guy, I knew he had the right character when he was down with Buddy no matter what. Yeah, because I was the same way. I'd rather go 10-6 with Buddy Ryan than 12-4 with another guy. Yes. That's how far back I go.
It was the greatest.
I'm in the Buddy Ryan camp. It was fantastic. So much fun back then.
It was awesome. That was funny. So I worshiped. Like I was an ink wretch. What do they call it? Ink stained wretch. I was that kind of dude. I had newspapers in my room forever. I would cut out articles. I still have pieces from Gary Smith, right? John Shulian, Bill Conley, like all these incredible, like the writers.
Smallwood.
Oh my God. How about the writers, the collection that Rich Hoffman, I mean, just incredible artists that had something to say but knew how to tell a story.
Yeah, I mean, what a great name to bring up in Gary Smith. I still think the best that I've ever read. And, you're talking about Wicker and Rich and, Ray Didinger and all those people, down now to, Marcus and Girardi and all those guys. But, I mean, the thing about Gary Smith was he came in like, a lot of us did as just like an agate clerk from LaSalle College. And he came in, and my boss for a long time, Mike Raffett, came in, took over, was kind of assessing the sports section. He came up with two things. He said, why is the guy writing the Adams doing 8 stories a day? Is soccer that popular? And it wasn't. but Phil Jasner was covering the Adams. So it was like, let's get this guy off the Adams and into something that matters. And that's how he got on it. And the other thing was, I'm reading these 3 or 4 paragraph little blurbs. They're the best thing in a paper. Who writes these things? They said, it's just one of the agate clerks, Gary Smith. No. We got to get him writing. And he pulled him out. God bless my old boss, Mike Rathett. He pulled him out, got him in there, put him in covering the Eagles with Vermeil back in the day. And that's how he, really made his bones. And boy, Gary could run. He could write. God. I remember sitting at LaSalle College, getting my daily news before I worked there, and pulling it open. And Gary wrote about the Broad Street Run, and just writing about something as simple as waking up in the morning and running on Broad Street. It was a masterpiece. He
then worked for Sports Illustrated, JP, and his pieces. He actually wrote. You might remember this. In 2011, he would write 4 pieces a year for Sports Illustrated. He talked his people into writing all 4 on the Phillies, and it was the 4 aces. One day he was reporting in one of his columns that one of the long pieces. He would write these, 5,000 word, essays. I said, listen, I have an idea for you. And he's like, yeah, what do you got? Because we love that stuff. I said, it was, who was living in Center City? Someone was living in Center City. I said, let's take a path and walk. And it was from Rittenhouse Square. I guess it was either Halliday or Lee or somebody.
Cliff was living in Rittenhouse Square.
Yeah, and then we walked from Rittenhouse Square to the ballpark and stopped and talked and embraced Philadelphia culture and how the Phillies brought people together and how and sports in general, and how the Phillies, the culture of Philadelphia. And we stopped at these little neighborhood bars along the way. And we took this kind of
great idea, and he executed it.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Boom. Yep.
It was amazing. It was, and just telling the tales of the grandparents and the roots of Philadelphia, and then invoking the history of the city into the piece. Because when you read Gary, you learned something, which is what I always loved about. What I loved about journalism was you get to just dive into something and learn something you had no idea about. Or you get to be places that nobody else is. One of the things I loved about when I wrote this, a bunch of stories for Philly Mag, Andy Reid allowed me to be on the sidelines, in the locker room at halftime. I watched film with those guys. I became embedded with them. Right. And you were able to just see it from a completely different vantage point.
And then one of the things I never liked about sometimes with writers is sometimes writers were comfortable that they knew something that as long as everybody else in the press box knew they knew, that was enough for them. That used to drive me crazy. Your job is to take that access and bring it to the reader, because the reader doesn't have that access. And here you are on the sideline of an Eagles games, little Anthony Gargano, you're a kid in a candy store, but you're a professional and you're acting as a journalist, but that love for the game combined with being in that thing and seeing things in a way you never did before, that makes for great journalism and a great story.
And you're there as translation, right?
Yes.
To translate the chaos of a sideline. I was there when, I love him, Butch Canico, Butchie, who was the security guy pre-Big Dom. In fact, Big Dom loves Butchie. Butchie hired him. And Butch ran everything for the Eagles, the security. After 9/11, he had snipers atop the vet to make sure that they were protecting. We didn't know what was going to happen. And he had snipers up there. It was wild. But he had gotten a flag for mouthing off of the. It was hysterical. He was yelling at the official, and the official threw a flag on him. And Andy turns around with these eyes bulging out of his head.
Yeah.
What do you mean? My security guy just got a 15-yard penalty? First, he looked at me. I'm like, dude, I'm just staying there. I'm not doing anything. And
then years later, his protege gets thrown out of the game.
Is it amazing?
Yeah.
How it all goes
I
down?
didn't know that about Butch. That's good.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Dude, there's all kinds of great stuff. But the art of, I know times change and I understand media and its form changes and our habits change, but to me, there's still nothing like something that's well written, and I don't care that it's in digital form. It could be in any form, and we're blessed here at PHLY. We were talking about it to have guys like Zach Berman and Kyle Newbeck and Rich Hoffman, who you are very close with.
My favorite one on the staff, and it's a great staff. You've done a good job assembling it. Just being here a couple minutes, it was great. John grabbed me. I saw my man Zach, 5 best handshakes of all time. Zach Berman, he comes to play in that handshake. Jamie Lynch, LaSalle High School's own Jamie Lynch, great guy, started back answering for you. And when I was on with you so much, I always loved talking to Jamie. And then LaSalle, I'm pushing the LaSalle agenda among this Temple crowd. The great Renee Washington's back there, a little more LaSalle. Yeah.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's fantastic.
Famer.
Yeah, but you know what you say about with the writing is one thing that I took in pride for toward the end of the career is that, let's use the Super Bowl, for example. And let's say the game was over at 12:30. Well, all those writers had to hit the button at like 12:35. And I always took pride that when people were reading that the next day, I think they thought that those guys had a lot of time to craft that story or whatever. They didn't. And the beauty about the format here, just indulge me with, I'll just show you how much has changed. Real quick story. We had so many guys at so many sports that were so good. Jay Greenberg was one of them. Great hockey
Oh,
writer.
my God.
bless
Jay
him.
was amazing.
Jay passed a few years ago. God bless him. Here's what Jay would do. Jay would go to a Flyers game at the Spectrum. He would go down and he would cover the game. And this was in the 80s or so. He would cover the game. When the game ended, the Inquirer person and the TV people would go flying down to the locker room because they needed film at 11 and the Inquirer was on a deadline. Our deadline was 6:30 in the morning. Jay would go down with them. He listened to everything that was done. They would go flying upstairs to get on TV to do their quick hit. Jay would wait everybody out, and then he would ask questions that he didn't want everybody else to hear to try to get something else. All right? That's nothing. He gets back in his car at the Spectrum. He drives over to his house in South Jersey. He sits down, unpacks, get himself a little snack. He takes this thing called a VHS tape because he taped the game. He put the tape into the recorder. He watched the game again.
Wow.
Watched
really?
the game again. Then he would sit down and write, and he would file something at 4:30 in the morning. So you take it from, that's what it was in the beginning, and you would think that the more technology you would have, the more time you would have. Just the opposite. And you take it from being able to file at 4:30 in the morning until having to hit the button 5 minutes after the Super Bowl's over.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it just shows how it's changed.
It's amazing. Yeah. There was nothing worse writing on deadline, and so the Post had a national. When I was in New York, we had a national edition.
That deadline had to be
5:30.
Really tough. Yeah,
right.
Okay.
So I would have to write 3 pieces to basically hold the stuff for after the game. So I would do, and if it was at a big event, if I was covering a fight or Super Bowl, like you have to write, and so you're basically writing pre-event, and then you would come back and you'd have to, I would have a 10:30. They could push it. So the minute the event was over, you had to hit send, and then I could rewrite. Then we went up till we had a 12:30 deadline and then a 2:00 deadline. But nobody read the 2 a.m. deadline. That was only in Manhattan.
Sure. Sure. Yep.
But that was some of your best stuff.
Right.
Because you had the culmination of a whole day of rewriting and finding stuff out and.
And you were smart enough to evolve to a feature writer who could write that long time.
I love that.
And you weren't sitting on that beat, that's tough stuff.
Yeah.
As you know.
And
you had all the right training. That's one of the reasons I love Marcus Hayes, who's still there at the Inquirer, is that Marcus came in and he took over the Eagles for Kevin Mulligan, and he did it for a few years. And then we were in a position, as many newspapers were, where Paul Hagan, after 16 years of the beat, said, Big boy, I'm out of gas. Had to respect it, and we couldn't get a hire. And so I had to do this flipping to get Ed Moran. Would you be willing to cover the Flyers? Yep. Hold up. I don't have this all together. Les, how would you like to go from the Flyers to the Eagles? I think that'd be good. And then it all hinged. I said, Marcus, would you cover the Phillies? And God bless him, Marcus said, you know what? I think it'd be good for my career to cover another team. I said, give me 2 years. He gave me 6. So say whatever you want about Marcus, and I'll fight anybody over Marcus Hayes. He earned that column.
Hey, by the way, and he's also an extremely talented writer.
He is.
Marcus loves words. And one of the things I've always loved Marcus is that we both had that love of words and putting words together. And he's terrific at it. I never shies away from an opinion, man. I mean, that's part of it.
Like a ball player under Jay Wright, I always thought the 2 best things about Jay Wright were, 1, how mentally tough he made his players, and 2, players got better under him. And Marcus, if you saw Marcus's writing gets better every year, and I respect that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's a good thing.
It is. It's fantastic. All right, let's do this. I have to invite you back to do a whole show on newspapers. All right?
Yeah, I know the neighborhood.
I need to do that.
And I'm with you. I'm fine. Anything for you, brother.
We got to do that.
Watch what you say there.
We got Uncle Frank. Let's say hello to Uncle Frank. Uncle Frank!
Wait, what do I have
Where's
to
he
do?
at?
Am I there?
Yo!
Yo!
What's up, man?
There he is, my man. You know.
We can't hear him.
Wait, hang
This is
on.
our first
Unmute.
Our first foray into phone calls. They're going to be video phone calls like TMZ.
You got to unmute.
There we go.
Unmute, Uncle Frank.
You got it?
You stunad. What's the
Now,
This
come
is
on.
the perfect first call.
Exactly. Look at him. You see his chin. He's going in and
You
out.
got the Jimmy Lynam effect.
Right, like,
Don't exactly. There's the crate.
we don't hear you.
Crate.
You got to unmute
He's giving us a
yourself.
tour of his house.
No,
Nice.
there
I like
you
the
go.
decor. Good floor there,
Listen,
Uncle
it's best
Frank.
stuff.
There's the cage.
Here's
We
the
see the
dog.
dog.
Hold on.
The cage said he was in for the Sixers game. We can't
Wait
hear
a
you,
minute.
brother. What happened? He's disappeared.
There he goes.
Maybe we'll try him later. All right, guys, a couple things. One, I want you to do your VG's nugs.
Yep.
And by the way, our talk with Pat and I, that was an incredible back in the day moment. We covered it. And our back in the day moment brought to you by Rite Aid. Any of your allergy stuff, mine are killing me. Go to riteaid.com. You need vaccines, all that stuff. Riteaid.com, your neighborhood pharmacy. We love our Rite Aid. All right, VG, you want to give us some nugs, and then we're going to go over the
you want
schedule.
got
with
some
Pat.
nugs?
So entertain Pat with your nuggets.
Carolina, the Panthers. How many primetime games do they have?
1.
0. And they deserve it. I don't know. You see the video of David Tepper? He had knocked the Eagles hat off of a Philly fan at a restaurant.
That's a well-deserved 0.
And he threw a drink on another fan at another game. Screw
did.
that guy. He gets
No, he's
0
a creep.
primetime games. There it is.
He's a creepo.
Yeah.
And by the way, he was difficult to work for. I may say that.
Yeah.
As I know a former head coach, one of his former head coaches. He was tough.
Yeah, there it is. 0. Ha 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 ha. Dallas with 6. Come on, that's a violation. I'm over the Dallas love.
I just don't even understand it, right? Like, they fail at the highest level last year, right? Like, they have a terrific, they win a division, you have a home playoff game, you have the Packers, and the Packers and Jordan Love boat race you, Pat.
Right, and I don't want to jump into VG's brilliance here, but something that sticks in my craw, if I could say to you 3 guys, okay? I see this thing yesterday. Netflix is coming out with a 10-part special about how Jerry Jones built this dynasty. Are you kidding me? If it's real journalism, I hope that the last 8 episodes are what an abject failure they've been.
Yeah, what
I have
dynasty?
4 boys, Anthony, as you know. I have 4 boys. My youngest son, Tom, is 27. Tom was not alive the last time that they were in an NFC championship game. What is with all this love of them? You go on ESPN during the season, it's like they twist themselves to come up with some kind of a Cowboys segment. Ugh.
It still lives. You're right. They still dominate the media landscape.
As Rich Ashburn said, that sticks in my craw.
That's awesome.
So we always like to laugh at the Mets, right?
Sure.
Owner Steve Cohen deleted a tweet yesterday. All in the future. Not much we can do until the trade deadline.
That's great.
And he deleted it a few minutes later. So Mets Reddit is all about they think he's going to sell. They think he's hating the Mets experience right now.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Good, he should.
That's fantastic.
Now he should say.
How about they have drubbed them these 3 games?
Oh yeah.
Yes. They drubbed them, and the Phillies were a little sloppy yesterday.
Yes.
And in a sloppy outing, they pounded them.
Yeah, it wasn't like Ranger was like lights out.
Right.
Oh, my
Mets
God.
fans have to have PTSD with bases loaded.
Oh, yes. yes, that's
Exactly.
great.
Yes.
That's great.
WNBA started. Caitlin Clark's first game, they had a bobblehead for her. It looks terrible.
Oh, no.
People are saying it looks like Mike Bibby, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
It does
That's
not
right.
look like Caitlin Clark. They need to do her better than that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
is a
rough.
violation.
That's rough.
Wow, the Caitlin Clark bobblehead.
Yeah. So
That's not. It does have a Brady look. She looks like Brady.
I like the Mike Bibby callback.
That's a bust out, Mike Bibby. My God.
So some artists, we can never have really nice things here. Some artists created this portal in New York City between Dublin and New York. Giant circle. As you walk past live time, you can interact with people in Dublin. So you're like,
What?
hey, you can wave. And
No way.
yes. So we have this OnlyFans woman, Ava Louise,
Oh,
who
no.
threw up her shirt and exposed herself there, and they shut the portal down because of lewd acts.
Oh, no. The ugly Americans.
Yes.
Oh.
You had
And
to
this is the
expect it.
woman who licked airplane toilet seats
Yeah.
to go viral to promote herself.
Yep.
God, that's, what is.
I mean, come on, you had to expect it, right? A portal that you can show anything. There had to be somebody that was going to go and show something.
That's a great
Come on.
idea, though. I mean,
It is,
it's-
but
Those are
it's
my
terrible.
people over in Dublin.
I'm
Come
going to
on.
ask you.
humans
Yeah.
ruin everything.
How would they react?
Well, I mean, depending on what it looked like on the other side, they might be very positive.
$1 bill.
Yeah.
So you got to watch this show, Netflix, Bodkin.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know about
I've
it?
heard about that recently. I have a
it's-
great friend named Bodkin. It can't be about him. Yeah.
It's
Really?
small town in Ireland, right? And there is, it's a great show. I'm 3 episodes in. You finished it?
I did. Yeah, I finished it. Yeah, it's great. Fantastic.
It's unbelievable.
I'm in. Thank you,
You
boys.
will love it because they get deeply into the Irish culture, right? There's a guy from Chicago, and he's a podcaster, and they're trying to uncover this mystery. And then there is you love this too. There's an investigative journalist who's originally from Ireland. She works for the London Times. And they're going through this town and uncovering these secrets from this old rural town in Ireland. It's a great show.
That's all I need to hear. I'm in.
Yeah. I want to be that one pub.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it looked fantastic.
It'd be such a fun time. Have a
Yeah,
Guinness and all that.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
It looked incredible. All right.
Just a couple things. Phillies are winning at a 705 percentage right now, on pace for 114.
So Seattle's got what? The 116.
Yeah.
Yeah. And last night, a lot of people are complaining Phillies had an easy schedule, which it hasn't been the toughest. But I watched Logan Webb dominate the Dodgers last night. 6 shutout innings. And the Phillies put up 4 and 4 and knocked him out in 4 innings last week. So these bats are legit.
Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Look at that. I love it.
Go Fightins.
Go fight. There it is. Sorry, VG's Nugs. All right, boys. We got to do this. All right? W's and L's. All right? We got to do it one time. We understand that W's and L's don't matter now.
Yeah,
But it's
thanks
fun.
for Kevin calling us low-hanging fruit with this W and L's.
I know. But I love it. It's so much fun. So it gives us a chance to talk about the whole season and the schedule and everything. So we're going to go, all All right, the 5 of us, including you, Andrew Frazier.
Uncle Frank is back, by the way.
Oh, he's back?
Yeah.
Let
I
me
don't know
say
if you
hello,
want him to
Uncle
hop
Frank.
on.
Does it work?
Let's see. Let's get him.
Frank!
What do you got?
Yo!
You
Uncle
got
Frank!
me?
Yo, Frank.
Oh, this is a disaster.
Well, they-
Only with
What
Uncle
the
Frank.
People in the
hell?
chat were saying they could hear him.
They can hear him? We can't hear
people in
him.
the chat were saying.
We're still working on
Wait,
this
wait.
whole deal. Frank.
You got me?
Yeah!
There we go.
Oh, my
Hello.
man.
You're the first caller, as you should be.
You know, I'd rather be in there to give you a hug. You know.
I know. And you're going to get in here, Uncle Frank.
My man, VG. Big fan.
up, Frank?
So, wait, am I on camera?
Yeah, you're on camera.
The whole world can see your beautiful face.
Yeah.
I would have reactivated my hair.
We're glad you
gel,
brushed your hair.
Damn.
No, it's
This is
nice.
great.
You look like Belichick at the kitchen table.
Oh, yeah. You have a face made for you, too.
Uncle Frank, say hello to the esteemed Pat McClune, former editor of the Daily News.
Hey, Pat.
How are you, Frank?
Pat.
Lay it on us, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wake up, I'm great, my man. I'm doing good. VG, I know. And what's the young ball on the left there?
All right, so JP, John Zapata.
What's up, Uncle Frank?
JP.
From the beautiful
My man.
country of Colombia.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah. Well, he's
Beautiful.
from here.
And then
His
Andrew. We got an Andrew.
His mother and father from Colombia. And then we have an Andrew. How about
Hey.
this? I went from an Andrew with the Tunis to Andrew that's
Yep.
the Frazier.
How you doing, Uncle Frank?
That's what? Yes, the Frazier. Now, is there profanity allowed?
I prefer not because my kids at some point usually like to
Oh.
watch the show.
I gotta
But
know the
if
guidelines.
you
All right,
want
no problem.
to, if you wanna, I can always make
No.
sure.
Frank been waiting months to drop some
Okay.
F-bombs.
Yeah, drop,
Say
Frank.
it.
Yeah, go for it, Uncle Frank.
No.
Julia,
What?
cover your ears, Julia.
All right.
Go ahead, go for it.
Where the fuck's the zapper? That's all I want to know.
I'm warming it up right now, Uncle Frank.
Yeah.
The best is all those years, right, doing radio, and we would always have to zap them. Uncle Frank.
Well,
You're
I
free.
look on this. There's a chat board, right? And all I see are these electrocution signs. From the first time.
That
the
is fabulous. What do you think? We like the TMZ style? Yeah?
Looks good in the corner.
This is cool. This is cool, man.
Yeah, you gotta get a ring light.
I gotta get my ass in there.
All right, I'll tell you what, Uncle Frank, stay there.
Yeah.
All right, don't go anywhere. We're going to do
All right.
W's and L's, and you can get in on this. All right? I
down
will lead
like
off to you
4-5.
guys.
Okay.
All right? This will be the official win total of the show. We're going to start off with the opener as we go to Brazil. All right? Green Bay. So I'll start with Pat. Pat, win or loss?
L.
L. I had that as an L too.
Bad history, bad juju with that over the years, you know. And
Packers,
we've been spoiled.
I know.
7 of the last 8 wins.
Yes. And then plus you're playing in a complete foreign environment.
It's the whole thing's strange.
Yeah.
Once they get through that, but L.
Okay. VG.
L. I just think the secondary's young, new coach. The Packers offense is smoking on in the passing game. I think it'll be a tough matchup.
All right. JP.
I go with L. The uncertainty thing again, the foreign thing again. I just don't feel like this doesn't smell like a W, guys. I got the L.
All right. You too, Andrew Frazier.
I'm going W. I think it's going to
W.
be an offensive game. I don't know if the defenses are ready yet, both sides. I think it's going to take a couple games to get into gear. I think it's going to be a big offensive game, and Eagles have the best offense right now, I think.
All right. Uncle Frank.
Yeah, it's an absolute. A home game in Brazil, nah. It's an L.
L. All right. Here we go. Julia, who do you got?
Go Birds.
Go Birds. I love it. All right. And Falcons, Monday night. Da, 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 da. Pat.
Tradition, W.
W.
Beat Cousins at home.
Yes, I agree. WVG.
W.
JP.
W.
W. Andrew Frazier.
W.
W. Uncle Fred.
W.
W. I love it. Julia, go Birds. All right. New Orleans. All right. So then we follow that up with a trip to the Superdome in New Orleans. Pat.
That's a W.
W. Agree. WVG.
W.
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 W. Look at this. Frazier.
Dub.
Uncle Frank.
Yeah, no L coming out of my mouth.
We all got dubs. Julia. Go Birds. I love it. All right. Now let's go to Tampa. Back-to-back road games. We go to Raymond James Stadium. What do we got, Pat?
Playoff payback. That's a W.
Revenge. I completely agree. They will smoke that team. After that playoff game and Baker Mayfield picking them apart, Pat.
I'm not sure what team that was.
Right.
Yes.
I'm with you. VG.
Frank's walking around with sunglasses on outside.
I don't know.
What is he doing?
That's a W.
Hey,
Keep it in your pants.
Focus.
I'm gonna say it better be. It's a must W, especially because of that playoff game.
Okay.
W.
I agree. Frazier.
There are ghosts in that stadium, and I don't know, Baker Mayfield, but I'm going W.
I like it. Uncle Frank, were you in the garden picking tomatoes?
I'm chasing my grandson around the plants.
All right, you got a W?
Frazier makes a good point, but yeah, it's a W.
All right, we all unanimous, man. Pretty well. All right, we got the bye week, early bye week, Pat. I don't like it.
Don't love it.
No.
Don't love it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Give me a later one. Cowboys have a later one. I hate that.
I know. I was thinking,
Yeah.
I hate them. All right, the Browns. So then they come back. Now they're off the bye, which end the games at home. And I don't like Deshaun Watson.
You said it. I'm with you, man.
There it is.
W.
WWVG.
Loss.
L.
Defense, man. Jimmy Schwartz coming back.
I know. They have a great defense. I agree. You're right about that. All right. JP.
This one's tough, but I'm gonna go W.
W. Andrew Frazier.
I'm on the L train.
On the L train.
Yeah, I think
wow.
they're going to be too comfy coming out of the bye. That defense, I don't know. I'm feeling an L.
All right. Uncle Frank.
Tough spot, but what somebody famous once said, the quarterback's got fleas, so it's a W.
I like it. Not a tough spot. You're off the bye. What's tough?
No, I'm talking about the Cleveland defense. It's not a tough spot. You're right.
All right. Julia. Go Birds. I love it. Giants. The Saquon game from MetLife Stadium, Pat.
They roll them. That's a W.
W. Yes, they roll that team. Bad team with you all the way.
Easy win.
All right, JP.
W.
Andrew.
Big win.
Big win.
Uncle Frank.
Yeah, W.
WWW. Jules. Go Birds. All right.
Go Birds.
All right, and now we go to Cincinnati. Joe Burrow.
They're due for an L.
Yes.
They're due for an L.
I agree. It's a spot,
Yes.
right? Like,
it's a spot.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
yeah, I'm with you. VG.
Yep. Back-to-back away games. Barrows loss.
JP.
L.
Look at this. We're all in agreement.
Gotta lose
Frazier.
It all depends on Joe Burrow and his health. If he is cooking at that time, it's an L.
Chase.
Chase.
You got Chase.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh man.
Chase is scary.
Young backfield defensively.
What do you got, Uncle Frank?
Yeah, it's an L.
It's an L. All right. Jules.
Yep.
Yeah, even Jules. Wow. For her first L,
Boy, that
says something.
that's going to be tough.
I know. All right, then you come home against our old friend, Dougie P, Doug Peterson, and the Jaguars, who, by the way, the one thing I'm shocked about is that Trevor Lawrence looked just was horrible last year.
You said it. Who do we have here? I thought he'd really be something.
Yes.
And he still could be.
I thought he was a lock.
Yeah.
I thought he was just like Andrew Luck.
Let's hope the Eagles quarterback has bounced back better than the Jaguars quarterback.
Yes.
By then. Regardless, that's a W.
You worry about him at all? Jalen?
I do. The whole season really is on that. And,
Yeah.
you know, you and I were in constant contact on that. When he came in, we all had our doubts, but boy, did he shut them down. And I think that's who he really is. But
Yeah.
we're going to have to see.
On the clock.
Yep.
Eyes got to be up. Eyes were down a little bit last week.
Did not see the field.
Yeah.
You are right.
Yeah. VG?
I love Doug, but this is a Birds win.
Birds win. JP?
Yeah, at home. Give me the W.
All right. Andrew?
No Ridley. Travis Etienne. What is he? We don't know. I'm going dub.
Dub. Uncle Frank?
Sunshine is an enigma to me, so it's a W.
All right. I like it. Jules?
Go Birds.
Go Birds. All right. At Dallas. Oh, there it is. This is your first one. You. Nobody hates the Cowboys like Pat. I love it.
We all know how tough this will be. This is a public forum. This can be recalled. I absolutely refuse in a public forum to say they lose. This is a W.
Yes, that's fantastic. All right. I'll say W. VG?
Sense of reality here. This one's a loss.
Really? JP?
I have a loss too.
You have a loss. All right.
Yeah, they're going to split with Cowboys. This is going to be the loss.
Okay.
Pat, that's a great preface there. That was great. Loss.
Loss for Uncle Frank. Jules?
Go Birds. We're going to break the streak.
Go right. So, all right. So, me, you, Pat, me, and you have W's. Now, short week Amazon game, Thursday night, Washington. See, I think that there's a slip up here. Washington always plays them tough. I know it's a young quarterback, but I can coming off a big game, 425, Brady in attendance.
It's there. It's in Washington.
No, it's here.
W.
You got W.
Yeah, I would have gone the other way if it was there.
Okay. I will go L.
Okay.
I will go L here. How about you?
I think it's a win.
Win? JP?
I think it's a win, but this Washington team is truly intriguing, and we'll see how Daniels performs to start off the season. But I got the win here. On Thursday
Okay.
Night Football.
Andrew.
I think there's going to be a lot of wrinkles in this Washington team just because of all the changes and coaches and all that stuff, ownership, whatnot. I think we're winning.
All right.
It's,
Uncle Frank.
Yeah, it's here, right? So, yeah, it's a W.
Here. Yeah, the short
Sure,
week thing.
here.
I think you could slip up a little bit. That's why, and I got to mix in an L after the W over the Cowboys.
How about those poor teams have to play on a Wednesday on Christmas Day? That ain't right.
So, do you like the Christmas Day?
I don't mind the Christmas Day, but you're stretching if you do it on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, okay. So are those teams, I should have looked this up. I meant to do that. Are those teams playing on a Sunday and have to come back on Wednesday?
I think that they have them, that they're
Maybe Saturday
yeah, I
games
think
at that point of the season?
they're not on the short week.
Okay.
I don't think you can play football in that short period of time.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, like you can't. The minimum you could do is Thursday.
Agreed.
And even that's, I still think, push. Now we're greedy because we love to consume it, but even that's pushing it. Jules, Washington,
Go Birds. Yeah.
go Birds. All right, there it is. All right, now we're moving in to look at this right before Thanksgiving and the road trip to Los Angeles. Stafford and the Rams.
Well, the secondary
Cooper
should
Kupp,
be starting to
Puka.
come around then.
Kyron Williams.
But that's an L.
L. I have L. What do you have?
I have L until they can prove they can cover Nakua Cup and stop Kieran Williams.
Yes.
I have a W only because the Rams are kind of a question mark. Like health is such a big thing for them. I mean, who's to say Matt Stafford stays healthy?
Well, that's true. Oh.
But I'll go with W with this one.
All right. What do we got, Andrew Frazier?
The secondary is so young. I don't know about Bradbury and all that stuff. If he's going to be there, if he is, I'm going L.
L. All right, Uncle Frank.
Anthony, don't give up on your percent imitation. It's getting better and better. It's an L.
L. L. What do you got, Jules? Sadly, L. All right. And the back-to-back, this is tough. You got to go from L.A. back home and down to the Dick Girardi's hometown of Baltimore.
Oh,
Dick Girardi on Preakness Week down in Baltimore. That's another L.
an L. All right, I can't have them losing 3 straight, so I have a W. All right, they're going to grind it out, and I think it's because I, too, I'm a little concerned about the quarterback going into the year, but I think this is a game where he plays well and outduels Lamar. So I'll go W. VG.
Loss. Too physical defense for this team.
What do you got?
I'm going to go with an L. We know there's struggles with the mobile quarterback. We'll see how they adjust to that. But you just mentioned it. Back-to-back weeks on the road. I got an L in Baltimore.
All right. Andrew.
It's the battle of the birds, and what the heck is a Raven? I'm going W.
W. All right. It's the battle of Edgar Allan Poe.
I go L.
You're going to go L?
Yeah.
Uncle Frank. All right.
You still have that grandchild in sight, Uncle Frank? Got your eye on that?
He's like the Don at the end of The Godfather.
Buddy. Yeah, all
when
right.
he's walking around.
Yeah.
When he
Well,
in the
let's
garden.
hope it doesn't go badly. I'm pulling for you, Frank.
More about it. He's safe.
Jules. L. All right, you got the L too. All right. We don't even need to go around the horn. Does anybody think they're going to lose to Carolina?
They better steamroll them.
Not even a little bit. They can't be as bad as last year, though.
That's true.
It's a win.
All right. Wins across the board over Carolina. And then we go, this is always fun, Steelers.
The other side of the state.
This is Steelers-Eagles. That's fun. Did you see the gauntlet that Pittsburgh has to play? Kevin Negandhi talked about it. They have to play the Chiefs, the Eagles, and the Ravens 3 games in 11 days.
Oof.
Wow.
They might have to win one of them. I'm going to say it's this one. That's an L.
Oh, look at that. I'm going to go win. VG?
I got it at a loss. Russ is undefeated in his career versus the Birds.
Stinks.
He's still undefeated.
This one's tough.
What you got, John?
I'm going to go W. Give me
JP?
Don't trust the
W?
Steelers.
Frazier.
The Iron Curtain is going to be paper thin that day. We're getting a W on that one.
All right.
Look at that.
Uncle Frank.
It's a W.
W. Jules. Go Birds. All right. Now we go to the home stretch. We have all of our W's and our L's, and we go back at Washington. All right. It's Christmas week, and we celebrate at Washington.
And we celebrate with a win.
And with a win. Lucky.
Because I know the dogs that are coming behind this, so the Eagles are going to close well.
I like it. All right. I go WVG.
Bounce back after the pit loss with a win.
There you go, Johnny.
I told you, this Washington team's intriguing. I think at the end of the season, they may figure it out. I got an L here.
You got an L. All right.
At DC.
Washington,
Frazier.
sweep. We're sweeping them.
Sweep.
They trip up, damn it.
You have an L, Uncle Frank.
Yep.
All right, Uncle Frank. Uncle Frank's got a lot of L's there. All right. What do you got, Jules? Go Birds. And then here it is. Look at this. Pat said it. The dogs coming behind him. Lincoln Financial Field. As we get ready to bring in 2025 to ring it in. Oh, my, 425. Brady in attendance. Lincoln Financial Field. It's dark, right? It's 425. The hooligans are been drinking since, festive holiday cheer all day, all morning.
The only way they lose that is if the Eagles are 14-1 at that point, and the Cowboys are 7-8.
Yes.
I'd be okay with that under those terms. Otherwise, no, that's a W.
WVG.
Meaningful pressure game late in the season. Cowboys lose. Eagles win.
All right. JP.
Cowboys suck. Go Birds. W.
Frazier.
This is where we say we're going to the Super Bowl. This is going to be a W.
Uncle Frank. W. Jules. Go Birds. And then the last one, well, should we just say, what do you think? Do they need it?
Well, the Giants are going to be evaluating another round of quarterbacks at that point, are they not?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
I don't even understand it. Listen, I love Neighbors, right?
Yeah.
I think Neighbors is stud, legit. But wide receiver when you have no quarterback. Like, I just don't. Like, if you can't trade up, okay, I get it. You don't like any of the quarterbacks that went past you, all right, but getting the wide receiver, I just don't know what it does for you.
Yeah, I still can remember. I just love the draft, as you know, we both do. And I'll still remember with the 6th pick when they took, I was so happy when they took Daniel Jones with that 6th pick.
Oh, my God,
that was
right?
amazing. That was amazing. And it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
It truly is. Oh, my God.
And I'm not so sure there's a great crop coming out next year, is
No,
there?
no.
Okay.
But, it's projected not to be a good crop, but
You never know.
You know how it is when they got to start playing, especially how wild it is now, man.
Yep.
WWVG
W.
JP
They'll be on Drew Lock time at that point. I'm going W.
W. What do we got, Andrew?
I don't know what my record is right now, but I think this is where we're sitting players this game for the playoffs, so they might lose.
Okay, you got the okay, fair.
But they're still going to get the first round seed.
Uncle Frank.
Oh, it's a W. You can't lose to a team that picks a wide receiver. No one can get him the ball.
My man Tony the ref checking in on the text board. Uncle Frank, we love Uncle Frank. Tony, great referee. Philadelphia Public League, Catholic League, you name it. And then Jules.
Go Birds.
Go Birds. There it is. All right, that'll do it for this schedule. W's and L's. None of this means anything, but damn, it was fun, Pat.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. That's fun. It was fun.
Man, so good to have you. Now, you got to promise me you come back and we do a whole substantive kind of conversation about all the stories that you covered. And you had an amazing career. You shaped many, many people across the Delaware Valley. You informed them. You entertained them. You should.
And we had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'd be happy to, and good luck to you guys and everything you're doing.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Pat.
Watching it closely.
Thanks, Pat. Thanks for all the good stories you oversaw back in the day.
There you go.
Uncle Frank, thank you, Frankie.
Thanks for having me.
The inaugural phone call, and you weren't under 2 minutes.
What is he, in a cottage in Tuscany in the backyard? Where is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the best, buddy. It had to be you as our first caller, pal. Thank you, brother.
Name, and of course, you gave me the name Uncle Frank, so I'll salute. Great show, guys.
Thanks, Uncle Frank. We love it. Julia and Andrew produced. Any parting things?
No.
All right, you're good. What? You yawned earlier. I didn't even understand what that was.
I'm just, stretching out, expanding
but
the chest, getting a chunk of oxygen in here.
You can't yawn. It's
not my fault you didn't get a coffee. Mom, not my fault you didn't get coffee this
Talk
morning.
about violations.
It's just no violation, right?
Yeah.
I know I didn't get any coffee. Where's Pellegrini? We gotta have coffee in this joint.
I told him.
Thanks, Jules.
I do need to give a shout out. My boy Rojas laid a bunt down yesterday, and it worked.
It worked. Yo to Rojas.
Yeah.
All right.
Go, Ro.
All right, everybody. Thanks again for hanging. We love you guys. Be careful. And we'll see you in the morning for Friday. All right? Have a great day.
We all silly like the mayor.